Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9313. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9313. That's 800-575-9313. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news.
Attention soccer fans, North Carolina FC invites you to be part of the excitement. Join us in our electrifying games with top-tier players, thrilling goals, and unforgettable moments. Experience the thrill of this beautiful game with North Carolina FC. Get your tickets now, northcarolinafc.com.
Join us. Wake County Public School System is hiring bus drivers, mechanics, and instructional assistants. Experience what it's like to be inspired every day as you drive our community's kids to and from school, maintain and repair our yellow buses, or support our great teachers out in the classroom. We offer competitive starting salaries, top-notch benefits, and many ways to grow in a positive, welcoming environment. Driving skills, mechanical skills, and kid-friendly skills are all welcome at Wake County Public School System. Apply now at careers.wcpss.net and explore an exciting new role with us.
This hour of buzzer-beating, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sports action on 99.9 The Fan is powered by
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com. WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Tough night for the United States of America in Atlanta, to the point where there's a lot of people calling into question whether or not we have the right man in charge. I saw it all over social media last night. So many hot takes based on what we saw, what we heard, what was said, how it was said, questionable decisions, and no one really seems willing to address the real problems. Panama beat the United States 2-1 last night. Yes. Yes. Oh. That's what I'm talking about. It's the Adam Gold Show. How are you? Welcome to what I think for most people is a short week. It's a Monday, but it feels like a Wednesday.
Does it?
Well, we only have 3 more days this week.
Well, I got 4, but
Are you?
I'll be here Friday.
Okay, are you going to be across the hall Friday, or just pushing?
I'll be everywhere on Friday.
Or just pushing buttons here?
I'll be everywhere.
Because we're going to be best of on Friday.
Yes, I will be doing a lot of things on Friday.
Okay, well, sorry.
It's all right. I live here. It's my second home.
Guess what today is?
Bobby Bonilla.
It is Bobby Bonilla Day.
Yes. I know that's not where you were going.
No, we'll address that because I find it funny. The Mets are the butt of everybody's joke today because of Bobby Bonilla Day. Yeah. The Mets owed him $5.9 million in, I believe it was 1999.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave him the option. Take $5.9 million today. He had already made a whole bunch of millions. Or, starting in 2011 for 25 years, we'll pay you almost $1.2 million per year for 25 years. And Bobby went, I'll do that. Yeah. I don't need your 5.9 now. I'll do that. What a retirement plan.
Right.
What people need to know is that the Mets essentially completely financed that particular payment.
Yeah.
So they actually make out better paying it because they waited 12 years to pay it. They paid for it in those 12 years. But it is funny because the Mets are still paying Bobby Bonilla, a player they signed not once but twice, and was essentially ineffective both times.
Right. Exactly.
But that's fine. He's not the only person that has gotten paid. Ken Griffey is getting paid by the Reds. It's fun. It's fun. Happy July 1. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. Happy Canada Day.
Ah, yes.
And with that said, we should start. All right, I'm still waiting for it to come across the TSN trade tracker, or rather free agency tracker. But can we get a kind of a breaking news sounder? And I'm simply going to say that this comes courtesy of Elliot Friedman of Sportsnet. Hurricanes, Jordan Martinook, 3 years, $3.05 million. And in light of everything that has not happened for the Hurricanes yet, and in light of everything that is likely not going to happen for the Hurricanes that we would all like to see happen, I am here to tell you that if you are criticizing the move, you're a fool. A fool. One of the criticisms that I would levy towards this organization in the past has been a lack of sense of intangibles, a lack of sense of rewarding your guys. And while, it would have been great to keep Jake Guentzel, and we'll talk about that. I think it would be great to keep Brady Skjei, and we'll talk about that. Brett Pesce, we'll talk about that. Teuvo Teravainen, all of this. When we talk about the Hurricanes and what they are about and their culture and the way they play, that's Jordan Martinook, people. You can't be so blind to that, if he's overpaid, and I'm not sure he is, but if he's overpaid, it's by a fraction.
Mm-hmm.
It's $250,000 if he's overpaid. He provides so much. The only drawback to 3 times, essentially 3, is that Martinook's style of play gives no regard for his physical well-being.
None. So,
the last 2 years, he's been healthy. And we saw what it has been able to translate to. In previous years, he's been in and out of good health. But he's got 27 goals the last 2 years. So he doesn't do it wrong. He scores big goals. But he also provides so much. So get over yourself. No, he is not going to play on a top line. He's going to be one of those players that helps you win. And again, he is part of the culture. So get over it. Good signing for Carolina. Now, we have a lot of other things to get to today in terms of, the Jake Guentzel saga.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about this extensively. By the way, if you're still blinded, I can't believe Gold just endorsed a 3-year, $3 million deal for Jordan Martinook. I'm pulling my own hair out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have hair on the top of my head. I'm pulling my eyebrows out. I have good eyebrows, by the way.
Yeah.
My wife, who does hair for a living, she's like, you have good eyebrows.
Yeah, they're strong.
Yeah. A little gray on the inside,
it's okay.
But it is what it is. But I got into this extensively in the last 2 Canes Corner podcasts. So on Friday night, after the first round of the draft, I put out a little short, about 6 minutes.
Okay.
On what happened to the Jake Guentzel deal. And then yesterday, a much longer version of the pod where we talked about Guentzel and other free agents. And we also got into a little bit of the draft haul and the prospects and things like that. So that's all there for you at Canes Corner Podcast. You can go watch it on YouTube. You can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts.
On the patio with Earl? Is that where it was filmed?
No, actually, Harriet was outside barking at something.
Oh, okay.
But neither made a visual appearance on the podcast. But I did get into the Jake Guentzel situation, and it's worth exploring. And here's my read on it without inside knowledge of anything, but the more you read from other sources, the more you kind of can piece together this. And I think this is how it probably went down. If I'm wrong, I'll find out and I'll let you know. Guentzel's ask from Carolina was 8 times 8. 8 years, $8 million per year. And the Hurricanes, remember earlier in the week we were talking about how the Canes are still in on Guentzel, but they were talking about $7.5 million. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Remember that figure?
Yeah.
So beginning of last week, it was Canes trying to get this done for $7.5 million, which to me seemed really light. And then the number kind of creeped up. We were in the Andrei Svechnikov range of 7.75. And then Thursday, the night before the draft, Elliot Friedman from Sportsnet says, I've heard that the Hurricanes have met the ask of 8 times 8. So we were all expecting, I's to be dotted, T's to be crossed, ink to dry, Guentzel back at $8 million per, which I still think was a little light for somebody who is a point-a-game guy. Well, the art of waiting until Thursday got us, Monday's not that far away, got us close enough to July 1 where other teams started to clear the deck, and all of a sudden Tampa decided to send Mikhail Sergachev, a dynamite defenseman, off to Utah to clear cap room. They were moving on from Steven Stamkos, and now they've got $20 million burning a hole in their pocket.
Right.
And all of a sudden you're like, that's our guy. And all of a sudden, Jake Guentzel, the market changes. And Guentzel is now with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
And now we should have Stamkos. Sorry.
No, we're not going to have Stamkos.
I know, it's just a pipe dream,
right?
but
It is.
I wish.
But I get it. People's like, throw the bag at Stamkos. This is not fantasy sports, people.
Right.
Okay? It just isn't fantasy sports. So, by the way, Jacob Slavin's contract has been extended. So it's been good for Martinook. It's been good for Slavin. 8 years, just under 6.5 per year. And that will kick in after this upcoming season. So start of the 25-26 season. Slavin, I believe, will be 31 at the time of that contract extension. That's bold.
Mm-hmm.
Cotton. So here's my take on it. Had you not played the game of negotiating, if you knew you were going to go to 8 times 8, then you make that decision Monday. Guentzel signs his deal. Carolina can then go about the business of trading Martin Necas at the draft. And plan A has been executed.
Yeah.
But when you decide to play the negotiating game, which honestly is the Hurricanes being on brand. They did it with Sebastian Aho twice. They seem to be doing it with Seth Jarvis. I don't know how good that's going to go. They did it with the head coach.
Yeah.
When you do this with players, they have options.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a loss. It's not a loss that you lose Jake Guentzel, believe it or not. Jake Guentzel can be replaced, although $8 million a year I thought was a little low for Guentzel. And the contract he signs with Tampa in the state of Florida, you'll understand why I'm bringing this up. The contract he signs for $9 million.
For 7 years.
For 7 years. It's actually total value less than what you get with Carolina. Carolina's total value is $64 million. That's $63 million. But it is almost entirely bonus-based. So there's about $12 million in salary total in the 7 years, whereas Carolina's not doing that. It is, buyout proof. You can't buy it out because you don't get anything for buying it out because you would only be buying out the salaries. It is a complete, it is a great contract for Jake Guentzel. But the team has given themselves zero protection if it doesn't work. And I know it's going to sound crazy, but I've seen contracts not work.
Yeah.
Talk to Jeff Skinner,
True.
who got bought out finally by the Buffalo Sabres. Talk to Jonathan Huberdeau from Florida, who went to Calgary. That has not worked out, right? There's a lot of contracts that don't work out, right? I am not saying that Jake Guentzel is going to be a bust, but Tampa is really rolling the dice here. Also, 7-year contract to a slightly undersized winger who's already 30. I don't know. Again, I wish him only the best. I loved Guentzel here, but ultimately, he'd be here if Carolina had just said, do we want him? Mm-hmm. If we want him, that ask, not astronomical. Let's do it on Monday as opposed to waiting until Thursday or Friday and seeing if he'll come back just a little bit more. And when the answer was no, now it's too late. Mm-hmm. Because all of a sudden now there are other things in play. So again, I'm waiting for the organization to kind of learn their lesson here.
I thought they were starting to, too, with the trade deadlines and everything last season, but nope.
All right. Steven Stamkos. We got a lot going on here. Steven Stamkos to Nashville. $8 million a year for 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we got a lot going on here. Jonathan Marchessault also to Nashville. Wow.
Whoa.
5 years, $5.5 million
Look at
a year.
the Preds. Wow.
All right, home. I'm sorry. I'm going to need a moment here. It's no good.
Oh.
Well, I knew it wasn't going to happen. Elias Lindholm, we don't know the numbers, but he's going to Boston, as is defenseman Nikita Zadorov. Again, we don't know the numbers there, but Lindholm and Zadorov both going to the Bruins. The Hurricanes don't really play the free agent game. This is why. I know they did last year, but here you're going to have to understand what I'm getting at here. It's not that they don't do the free agent game. They don't do the bidding war game. Right? They don't do that.
No.
And because of that, what I think they're really good at is determining a player's value in their eyes. Okay? I'm not saying that I would do it the same way. Sometimes market forces tell you something else. But they decide what they believe a player is worth. And they are willing to pay that player that money. If it goes higher, they will simply say, congratulations, we'll see you down the road. So in the case of, I don't know, let's just say Brady Skjei, who I expect we will probably see sign in Nashville too. They must have all sorts of cap room.
All kinds. Sheesh.
What I believe is that they have probably put a value on Brady Skjei. It's probably not higher than the value they have placed on Jacob Slavin. Right? I promise you, Brady Skjei will get more than Jacob Slavin did on the open market. And the Hurricanes will say, hey, we'd love to have you back at this number. We would love it. And I think that you could bring Brady Skjei back at 8 years. At, let's just say, 6.4. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they'd go that high, but and I would be willing to bet that they would make it work, even though Slavin's a left side defenseman. Nikita, what am I drawing a blank on? Is Nikishin.
Yes.
Nikishin, the kid from Russia, he's on the left side.
Yes.
And Skjei, I'd be willing to bet they could make it work. 3 left side, yeah, there's these kind of our studs. We got Jalen Chatfield. You could get Nikishin to play his offside because he did a lot of that in Russia based on all the things that I have read. Skjei's a good athlete. Maybe he can play his offside. He hasn't really here, but maybe he could. Either way, you'd be willing to make it work. But I don't see it because I don't think Brady Skjei should take less than what he could get in the open market. I don't want to hear about, well, these guys should take less to stay here. Nobody would do that. I'm talking about real life people. You're not doing that.
Yeah.
You're just not doing it. And when they're and some players do. Jordan Martinook, by the way, did the last time. He took a pay cut to stay. And I would contend that I'm not sure he didn't take a pay cut to stay again. Because I think in the open market, based on double-digit goals the last 2 seasons and overall impact to your team and leadership qualities and all of that and the way he plays, I'm not sure that isn't going to get 3.25 or 3.5 on the open market. So I'm kind of glad that the Hurricanes did what they did. Lindholm got $7.75 million from Boston over 7 years. 7 years, $54.25 million. And there you go. Brady Skjei, it's official. 7 years, $7 million from Nashville. Nashville done spent some money already.
Nashville is just growing money over there.
Well, it's all those bachelorette parties.
It is. It is.
I will say this about the National Hockey League. Nobody does day one of free agency like this. Wow. Nobody does day one of free agency like this. So let's see. Let's recap. Jake Guentzel to Tampa, 7 years, $63 million. The other reason I brought up Florida by accident, not meaning the team but the state, is that there is no state income tax in Florida. So that $9 million contract annually is worth more there than a $9 million contract would be worth here.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I'm not smart enough to tell you what the overall impact is, but it's not insignificant. I don't know if it's, holy cow, I don't think it's worth $2 million more a year, but I mean, it could be worth, $500,000 to $1 million a year. Mm-hmm. Again, somebody who would know better than I can probably tell me.
Well, it adds up.
But,
we all know. We look at our paychecks and we're like, what?
Yeah, right.
Where's the rest of it?
But he still has to pay the federal stuff, but he doesn't have to pay, he wouldn't have to pay, there is no state tax.
Yeah.
Right, so Guentzel out, Skjei out. I assume we're going to see Brett Pesce to New Jersey fairly soon. Teuvo Teravainen to somewhere else. Part of me would love to see if they can figure out a way to keep Turbo here. We haven't even gotten to Martin Necas yet. So let me just bring this up, and I want to set the table for some other things we're going to do today. It's not going to be 3 hours of Hurricanes and free agency. It's going to be very free-flowing. I do want to leave some time to take your phone calls about this because I think this is an important day.
And people are all on our live chat, too, on YouTube.
Are they? I'm
all
sure.
Commenting
I'm
about
sure.
it.
Yes. We are going to create some space for this, but there are other things also to get to today. But I don't even remember what was I talking about just now?
You were about to say we're not going to talk about Canes for 3 hours.
I thousands of things running through my head. The Martin Necas deal.
Ah, yes.
That trade has not come down. I actually think the Hurricanes are going to keep Necas, but I've sort of been saying this for a while because I never thought that they would re-sign Guentzel. They were certainly close and probably should have been able to get that over the line, but they didn't. I thought it would either be Guentzel here or Necas here, not both, potentially neither. But here's my point about why you keep Necas. He hates it here is way overblown, okay? Way overblown. I'm not saying he wouldn't be happier elsewhere, but he's not a miserable human being here, okay? So I'll look at it like a baseball lineup. Every good team needs big bats in the middle of their order. You need to be able, you need some power hitters in your lineup. And here we're talking about guys who can score goals. So you've got Aho, you've got Svechnikov, you've got Jarvis, and you've got Necas or Guentzel. Guentzel's gone. I think you need 4 big bats in the middle of your lineup, unless you're turning Necas into a big bat. So I don't know how you do that. Unless you were turning him into somebody who is going to score a bunch of goals for you, I think it's to your benefit to keep him. I think it's going to be hard to trade Martin Necas and get a better player.
Yeah.
I think that will be difficult. I would like to see them be able to keep Teuvo Teravainen.
Well,
yeah,
they're not. He's going back to the Blackhawks. He signed a 3-year deal with the Hawks. So
what is that? Do we know what the number is?
I'm trying to look for the number, but no. It's a 3-year deal for sure.
Okay, I haven't seen it on. I'm using TSN's.
A $5.4 million annual cap.
So that's the same contract he just played on for Carolina. 5.4 over 5 years.
Yeah. Back to Chicago.
All right. All of the things I think I know so far, I have been right. The organization, in my opinion, made the decision on Teuvo Teravainen after last year. Not now, but after last year. I thought that they might be able to keep him at 3 times 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
3 times 5, 3 times 5.5. Not a lot different. Brandon Montour leaves Florida, goes to Seattle. 7 years, $7.14 a year. What are you doing, Ron Francis?
Wow.
Anyway, yes, we're going to have to, assess a lot of these things. Mm-hmm. All right, we'll come back. We'll open up phone lines, 919-860-5326, 919-860-5326. At least Jordan Martinook staying around. At least Jalen Chatfield staying around. What did I say were my 2 priorities in terms of the unrestricted free agents? Chatfield 1, Martinook 2. Both get done for basically the same number and the same term. We'll see where they go next, but we'll take your phone calls. 919-860-5326 next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's the summer of soccer.
Swiderski for Capetti. It's stolen away by Hack. Hit the line by Gaines. A shot. He scores!
All the saves.
Polina with brilliant quick footwork across his 6-yard box to be able to recover and grab the strike from Kubo.
All the goals.
He just sends it back into the area for Swiderski. One touch. He scores!
The Triangle's home for Charlotte FC action. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
It's hot out there, and your inefficient windows mean high utility bills all year long. Window Nation sells some of the most energy-efficient windows you can buy and was recently ranked highest on Forbes' list of best window installation companies. Right now, for every 2 windows you buy, you'll get 2 windows free, plus 0 down and no interest or payments for 2 years. Stop paying more than you have to. Schedule an in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners, where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you Mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hungry for flavor and value? Then it's Bo time. Nothing slays the hunger beast like some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. And there's never been a better time to satisfy your Bojangles sandwich cravings than now. With Bojangles Summer Sandwich lineup, you can choose a flavorful Cajun fried chicken filet sandwich, or a tender Cajun grilled chicken filet sandwich, or a crispy Cajun filet club sandwich, or a tasty Bo's chicken sandwich. Make it a sandwich combo and add your choice of a side. Maybe Bojangles seasoned fries, dirty rice, or Cajun pintos. And to complete the perfect meal, Bojangles legendary iced tea. There's a Bojangles sandwich combo for everyone in the family. Summer just doesn't get any better than that. What are you waiting for? You know you're hungry. And you know you want flavor and value. So, it's Bojangles Sandwich Combo time.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money. Your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit ConsumerCellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
This is Adam Gold.
He takes the hat. It was like somebody who works there was wearing a baseball cap. Takes it off the kid's head and puts it on the hostess station. Just takes the hat off this guy and puts it down.
Excuse you?
Like, that's exactly what I went. Like, excuse me?
Right.
What are you doing?
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Gosh, we have so many things to do today. I haven't even mentioned we got USA-Uruguay tonight, 9 o'clock. Must-win match for the United States in Copa America. We can make fun of England for really shoulda losing to Slovakia. Momentous day in the Atlantic Coast Conference today. We're now an 18-team league. Holy cow. My favorite thing is that the ACC is like celebrating this. Like, you know you're the only ones, right? Like, I look at it as, yeah, this is probably a necessary move. For a lot of reasons, not all of them good, a necessary move. But I ain't celebrating it. I'm sorry. It's not a celebrating type of thing. But I guess you have to keep up appearances. Anyway, we will talk a little soccer later on. We will also get you up to date on the ACC versus Florida State since we're celebrating the ACC becoming a bloated league. Can we get another breaking news sounder? That's fine. According to Frank Saravalli from Daily Faceoff, Canes agreeing to terms with William Carrier, who is a kind of a physical left wing from Vegas, 6 years, $2 million per. I want to hear from all the people who hated the Jordan Martinook deal.
Yeah.
I want to hear that. I want to hear your reaction to that. He's got 1 double-digit goal scoring season in his career. 1. All right. You need depth.
Yes. It's kind of important.
All right. 919-860-5326. 919-860-5326. Your thoughts on Canes' moves. I have a lot to say. Michael in Durham. Michael, how are you?
I'm good, Adam. Thanks for taking the call. I will
it.
not be one of those that dislikes the Martinook trade, considering I have his sweater in my closet.
There you go.
I love the way he plays, and I think you're right about he and Chatfield. They've been signing the identity guys, right? But I do have a question. I think for people that maybe freak out when they see someone not signing here, to me, it's just freeing up money to be spent somewhere else. So the question would be, what's the list? Like, what's that list look like to you for names of where they're going to go? You know, not talking about the most recent signing from Vegas, but just where would you, if you were in that seat, where's the money going to be dispersed now? The money that you don't have to spend on Skjei or Teravainen. I agree with you that I think Necas is back now. It sure seems like his future probably in Carolina.
At least the short-term future, I think.
Yeah, for at least a couple years, right, with a bridge deal. But I'm curious, like, if you're looking out at this landscape now, for those fans like myself who have been on YouTube just chatting away the last few minutes, the ones that are ready to jump off the ship or panicking, where do you see us going next, or where are the places you go if Plan A doesn't work out, if Plan B doesn't work out? That's the curiosity I have.
Yeah, I appreciate the call. Here's the deal: 919-860-5326. I'm going to answer that question by just reiterating something I said at the very beginning of the show. The Hurricanes don't do bidding war. They just don't. Even the 2 free agents they signed last year happened so quickly and out of the blue. The Hurricanes saw, like, they overpaid Dmitry Orlov. Everybody knows it. The entire world knows it. So there wasn't a bidding war. We are throwing this money at you. A big bag of money. We are hitting you in the face with it, Dmitry. $7.75 a year. Even as well as he played at the end of last year and in the playoffs. And he played really well. He ain't worth $7.75 million. Not even close. Michael Bunting also, I don't know if he got significantly more, but I don't know that there was a huge bidding war for Michael Bunting. I think the Hurricanes decided, we can afford this. They were probably looking at him as a player who could get better playing with better players. Bunting had a hard time playing the way Carolina wanted him to play, and so that was not going to work out, and they used him to get Jake Guentzel. But they don't do bidding war. So this is where I wanted to caution people, and I said this last night in the Canes Corner podcast. They're not going to get into a bidding war, which is why when we look at the list of available free agents, I never thought they were going there. I think Carolina will improve in 2 ways. I think they will improve through trades, and I think they will improve internally. I said this a couple of years ago. We're looking for this to help us out, this to help us out. Here's how Carolina will be helped out more than anything else. It will be Andrei Svechnikov becoming what Carolina needs him to become. Point per game, 82 games. 30-some-odd goal scorer. Don't spend half the season in the penalty box. That's how Carolina gets better. Martin Necas, if it's not him, it'll be somebody that they use him to get. But let's just call it Martin Necas for a time, and that's play 82 games like you played in the playoffs. I think it's worth pointing out, yes, he has defensive lapses. Holy mackerel. Andrei's got defensive lapses too. But the way Necas played in the postseason, that's the way he needs to play for 82 games during the regular season. He played with a little bit more physicality. I think he was a little bit more responsible. And if he does that, and he plays in the middle of the ice, I'm not saying as a center, he's not going to be a center here, I don't think, then that's a useful player. And because he's got so much talent, he's going to get his opportunity. Somebody asked me earlier, 919-860-5326. Somebody asked me earlier, why would he come back? First of all, it ain't up to him. Why would he come back to eventually be thrown on a fourth line? Please, show me where he was on a fourth line. Show me. He was, during the regular season, he was third among forwards in ice time. Only Aho and Jarvis were on the ice among forwards more than Martin Necas. That's it. Now, in the playoffs, and remember, he gets no shorthanded time. Jarvis and Aho both augment their ice time by playing shorthanded. In the playoffs, Teuvo Teravainen was ahead of him in ice time. Again, that shorthanded time on ice mattered. Also, when we got to the playoffs, Necas was playing, I believe, with Martinook and Drury. Was that the line? When Rod had completely scrapped everything he wanted. So, Necas will play in a prominent role if he's here. And if he's not here, the Hurricanes now have no other choice but to get somebody who can also score a bunch of goals. Because ultimately, you need that. You need that. I actually think that, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around 6 years, $2 million per for William Carrier. But in terms of your own players, Chatfield and Martinook back, I think, is smart. A, the contracts are not long. B, they provide a ton of value to the team in many different ways. And if you really thought that Jordan Martinook was only going to be a $2 million a year player, then you're silly, because that's not how it works. And when you are an unrestricted free agent, the numbers automatically go up. And I think Martinook probably left money on the table to come back. Because I point this out. 4 years ago, Brock McGinn signed a 4-year contract with Pittsburgh for $2.7 million a year. $2.7 a year. Martinook is a better player today than Brock McGinn was then. Remember, the head coach loved him too. The Martinook deal is a good deal. It's a smart deal for the Hurricanes. Also, real quick, Jacob Slavin signed his contract extension today, just under $6.5 million a year for 8 years. That will kick in after this year. Hurricanes also signed former Vegas winger William Carrier to a 6-year, made him French, to a 6-year, $12 million deal. So that's where we sit right now. Patrick and Raleigh, what's up?
I'm just thinking we should put Rod out on the ice to play since we're letting everyone else go, that Rod could coach and play.
Rod could probably take a shift.
Yeah.
Right? I think he could take a shift right now. He could probably win a defensive zone faceoff.
I mean, are we worried that we're letting everyone go? I mean, I think Skjei leaving is a good thing, but we're not bringing anyone in really at all.
Right. Look, if you listened to the podcast last night, most people's takeaway from the podcast was, man, Adam, you depressed me. So,
yeah.
I am not sitting here.
The Storm Brew. Dundon's going to be the richest man in the world because the cap space is crazy.
Might be headed that way anyway. Look, here's the deal. I am not sitting here and telling people that Carolina is in a better position today than they were, yesterday or a month ago. That is not the point. We're arguing over like little things here. Bringing back Jordan Martinook is not, it doesn't prevent you from doing anything else. Like the notion, this is what I'm hearing. Well, I would have rather taken that Martinook money and given it to a bigger player. Well, great. You still can do that. Yeah. Jordan Martinook's contract doesn't stop you, and I'll throw a player out who's already signed elsewhere. It doesn't stop you from signing Elias Lindholm. It doesn't stop you from going out and paying, Jake DeBrusk. It doesn't do any of that, right? So let's not do the false equivalence here, right?
Yeah. I think we just need to go get someone.
Well, but again, what I'm saying is they're not going to do it through free agency. It's going to be through other ways. Like last year was an outlier. The entire season was an outlier. They dipped into free agency for Orlov and Bunting, And then they went out and got the biggest fish at the trade deadline in Jake Guentzel. Total outlier last year. That is the first year in the Dundon administration, if you will, 6 years, that they have done either of those two things. My feeling is we are now going back to the Hurricanes being on brand. And on brand for them is we don't pay the free agent tax. We don't get swayed by market forces. We have a number, we stick to it, and they will improve their team through trades. And like they didn't outbid anybody for William Carrier. I'm still a little confused by that signing, but again, that isn't going to prevent them from doing other things. They still have $23 million in cap space, and they still need to sign Seth Jarvis. Right, we have to remember that. And if I were them, this would be a great day to announce that. And they need to do something, either sign or trade Martin Necas. They need to do some things, but they're also going to move at their pace, and I think that annoys a lot of people. But I don't think the sky is falling yet. No. I'm not saying it won't fall.
The pace is ice age for fans.
Yes, I agree. 100% agree. It's never. But again, we have to remember, when have they ever done anything differently other than last year?
Yeah.
I was shocked last year. Completely shocked. We got to take a break. I appreciate your time, Patrick. 860-5326, 860-5FAN if you want to get in on this. If you're in the chat on YouTube, we can check out some of those. I'll read some of the comment. First class covers. Jesus, $3 million for a fake hustle. Well, that's a mischaracterization of Jordan Martinook. Head coach loves him. Loves him.
Yeah, I love him too.
My conversation with the team about Martinook was they thought he was going to price them out of the market. Clearly, they decided to meet at least somewhere in the middle. I promise you, he would have gotten more money elsewhere. Promise you. All right, quick break, come back, more phone calls. 919-860-5326 next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Are you taking care of someone on Medicare? Navigating Medicare can be overwhelming. You're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help you figure out what steps to take and when. SHIP counselors can answer your questions. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Some call it overplanning. At Alternative Power, we call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Generac, it's not just a generator, it's a power move. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell is known for flavors that push the boundaries of taste. Our oatmeal cream pie ice cream is an oatmeal-flavored ice cream with hints of brown sugar mixed with soft oatmeal cookies and a vanilla icing swirl. We've set the bar sky high for deliciousness.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Virtual healthcare is changing the way that traditional medicine is being delivered. Ironically, treating some people from afar is actually increasing access to medical health. Dr. Matt Anderson is with Charlotte-based Advocate Health, a member of the North Carolina Healthcare Association. He says telehealth is enhancing the ability of doctors and nurses to treat more people in better ways.
What we've really tried to do is build out that infrastructure from a virtual standpoint to enable us to better impact the health of our communities in a more convenient, simple, and easy way.
Learn how telehealth methodologies are not only saving people money, but how virtual medicine is transforming lives and the health of our communities. I'm Christine Bellino. Join me and my guest, Dr. Matt Anderson, for the latest edition of Conversations on the State of Healthcare, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association. And for more information, listen to our podcast on the North Carolina News Network and visit nchealthcare.org.
The North Carolina Zoo is celebrating 50 wild years in 2024. Voted top zoo in the nation, the North Carolina Zoo is centrally located in Asheboro. Bring your family for a day trip or a weekend excursion to connect with nature and make cherished memories. Discover towering giraffes, a herd of elephants, a crash of rhinos, and a flock of seabirds. Plus, ride an endangered species carousel and stroll through the exotic butterfly garden. Plan your next outdoor adventure at nczoo.org.
Everyone goes through tough times, and everyone can get through them, as long as they don't have to do it alone. Dial 988 if you need someone to talk to. Get what you need to get to a better place. Together, we'll find the care that works best for you. We're here 24/7. Call, text, or chat 988. 988. Let's get through it together. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
This is Adam Gold.
He said he could talk about his golf game. He did say it wasn't great, and I said, hey, no judgment here. I'm a drive shacker and a putt putter myself.
None of us are good. Even those of us that are good aren't really good.
Right, yeah.
We're just not.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. So let's recap where we are. The Carolina Hurricanes lost Jake Guentzel. The Canes lost Brady Skjei. Guentzel goes to the Lightning, 7 years, $63 million. Skjei, well, it's better to just do it, I guess, average annual, although this works out the same. Skjei goes to Nashville, 7 years, $49 million. That's $7 million per. Teuvo Teravainen back to the Blackhawks, 3 years, $5.4 million per. Brett Pesce to the New Jersey Devils. So they're assembling the 2018-2019 Hurricane defensive core because they also have Dougie Hamilton. So Pesce goes to the Devils, 6 years, $5.5 million per.
They even have the same stinking colors.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
He can keep all of his red and black, matching ensemble.
Wow.
We have not heard yet about Steph Nason. Remember, Carolina went into the offseason, I think it was, they had 11 total unrestricted free agents. Chatfield signed, which left them with 10. Actually, 8 of them were unrestricted, 3 were restricted, Necas, Jarvis, Drury. And they signed Chatfield, so that they were down to 7 unrestricted. And Guentzel, Tampa, Skjei, Nashville, Pesce, Devils, Teravainen, Blackhawks. Martinook's back. So now the only 2 outstanding unrestricted free agents for Carolina are Steph Nason and Tony DeAngelo. I think there's a chance they keep both. Wouldn't be surprised if they kept Tony, but I also wouldn't be surprised. I would be surprised if they kept Tony today. I think DeAngelo is somebody you circle back to in a couple of weeks, depending on how everything else works out. And I think Tony would probably want that too, because I think Tony's going to want to assess the whole landscape to see where if there's a fit for him elsewhere, because right now Carolina does not probably need him, but they might go back to him at some point. Anyway, those are the latest in Hurricanes free agency. Adam and Raleigh, you'll probably close out this hour. How are you?
I'm doing well. Following you and following everything going on today, and I've got kind of two questions for you. One's probably pretty quick, and then the other one might take a little bit more diving into. One is, what do you think the Seth Jarvis contract is going to look like?
Well, I'll answer that very simply. It's probably going to look similar to the contract that Jake Guentzel asked for. I think it'll be right around 8 times 8.
Okay. And the other is, because of the way the salary cap works and the buyout, is it time to call the KK experiment a failure?
I mean,
and go ahead and buy him out?
That's an easy one for me. Yes, it's been a monumental failure. He's not anywhere close to the player that they thought, that they hoped. I don't know if they thought, that they hoped that he would become. Now, the people who are very much on board with that will tell you, well, there's still time because he's a young player. No lie there. He is still a young player. But he doesn't have a role on this team at center if Yevgeny Kuznetsov is still here. Kuznetsov, Drury, Stahl, Aho are your centers. If Kuznetsov is here. And that might be a big if. I don't know. But are they going to buy him out? Nah, they're not going to buy him out because they're going to try to trade him. They're going to try and stuff him in a trade somewhere. But I think he's going to be here. Like I think Necas is going to be here.
Do you see anybody taking that contract on there?
Nope.
Okay, I don't either.
Nope. He's to me, he's a third or fourth center at best. I think he's more of a 4C. I just don't think he's got, he has tools, but I don't think he has figured out how to unlock it. And maybe that's the system that can't kind of unlock Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Maybe there's somebody else who can unlock him, because I don't know. Smarter people than me, offered him that contract, and there are smarter people than me that think he's going to be something down the road. I hope so, because the Hurricanes need somebody to step forward. I appreciate your time, man. 860-5FAN, 860-5326. We will continue to take some phone calls, but also there are other things going on, and we're going to start weaving those in next hour. There is really a crossroads soccer match tonight for USA Soccer. It is as much of a must-win as they have probably had in 10 years. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, but we'll get your reset on what the Hurricanes have done and not done next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The Adam Gold Show.
Here's the thing. The Hurricanes knew Jake Guentzel's ask was 8 years, $8 million per for a while. It took them all the way to Thursday to go, okay, and by that point, it's too late. The market's about to open. Teams have already called to be interested, and that's how Tampa Bay steps in and swoops up Carolina's big prize.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Are you struggling to get a good night's sleep? Look no further than Parkway Sleep. For 20 years, we have been your locally owned and operated sleep center.
I'm Brandon Giggling, president of Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Did you know that people are waiting a staggering 6 to 8 months for a sleep study at other sleep labs? At Parkway, we understand the importance of your sleep needs. That's why we offer openings within weeks, not months, saving you time.
Don't let sleepless nights take over your life. Visit us today at parkwaysleep.com. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
Everyone's trying to become more streamlined these days, so why not you? Adam Gold here from my friends at Travers LASIK and Dr. Lori Travers, the Triangle's only LASIK specialist. specialist, and this is your chance to become more efficient. If you are a contact lens or glasses wearer, get rid of them. Plus, Travers LASIK is offering $1,000 off right now and 0% financing for qualified customers. Go to TraversLASIK.com. The consultation is free. 919-510-6830 for Travers LASIK.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Grilling, better with Pepsi.
For a limited time, get 2 20-ounce Pepsis for only $4.25 at Refuel. So hurry in and enjoy an ice-cold Pepsi today.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah, crazy story. So I'm at the Nissan Thrill of Summer sales event when Dave, the sales guy, asks, "Want to test drive the Rogue?" And I'm like, "Let's go." We're driving when Dave says, "Check out the VC turbo engine." I hit the gas and whoosh. I'm like, "Okay, I wasn't expecting that." Dave goes, "If you think that's cool, watch this." Dave shows me the miles per gallon and I'm like, "Whoa, that's pretty impressive fuel economy." Dave mentions, "These new cars are going fast." And in that moment, I had to have that Rogue. Crazy, right?
Wait till you hear how I got my Sentra.
Get up to $1,000 July 4th bonus cash on select 2024 Rogue trims. Shop the Nissan sales event. Visit your local Nissan store and nissanusa.com today. 2024 EPA fuel economy estimates from 28 city, 34 highway to 30 city, 37 highway for 2024 Nissan Rogue. Actual mileage may vary. $1,000 July 4th bonus cash on 2024 Rogue Platinum. $500 July 4th bonus cash on 2024 Rogue SV and SL trims. Available on lease or purchase from new dealer stock. Contact dealer for details. N7824.
Attention soccer fans. North Carolina FC invites you to be part of the excitement. Join us in our electrifying games with top-tier players, thrilling goals, and unforgettable moments. Experience the thrill of this beautiful game with North Carolina FC. Get your tickets now, northcarolinafc.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
He scores! What a comeback! Visit GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I mean, from an organization, obviously we have a lot of amazing people that have ran. I mean, even from the time I came here with Ron Francis being at the head, and then obviously you bring in Roddy as head coach, and as a couple years in my career here, and so just having really good leadership here is one reason for it. But then you just look at the community and how this organization's a part of it. I think that's what makes it really easy to make that decision to stay here forever and to be a good fit here is being with really good people.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Get you an up-to-date on everything the Hurricanes have done and Hurricanes have not done. As we start this hour, we'll take some phone calls, 919-860-5326. Toward the bottom of the hour, we will start working in just some of the other things that I think matter today. Frankly, we're all going to need a break from the stuff that we want Carolina to do that they're not doing. And I don't want to seem like I am apologizing for defending the organization. Understand that I am simply telling you, I think, how they operate. Because I'm not defending it. It's inexcusable to me that Jake Guentzel, who did want to be here, he wanted to re-sign. It's inexcusable to me that they decided too late to meet the asking price. Like I'll trust Elliot Friedman's intel on this, that the Hurricanes finally on Thursday decided to meet 8.8. But by that time, the market had changed. And so the Guentzel camp went, maybe not.
Yeah, they messed around and found out.
Right. So do that on Monday. Contract signed. And then maybe everything else gets set into motion. But because you waited, which, again, is the Hurricanes staying on brand. And this is what happens. All of a sudden, the market moves.
Yeah.
Now, Jake Guentzel is getting less money over 7 years than he would make over 8 for Carolina. He's getting $63 million from Tampa. However, like 50 of it is in signing bonus. Crazy. Whereas he would have gotten 64 from Carolina. Just as a point of comparison, Sebastian Aho has $2 million of his salary each year are signing bonus. The rest of it is salary. That seems a lot more sensible for various reasons, but, I mean, the Lightning decided that they would buy him by doing it that way. Makes it a lot easier when you know you're getting basically almost all of your cash up front every year. Every year. And it also, the money goes further because in Florida, there is no state income tax.
Yeah,
so
that.
Players in Vegas have, I believe, the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Players in Texas. So the Dallas Stars, when they go and sign a player, you know, it's the money goes further, right? I don't know how the Rangers sign players.
I know,
right? For New York state taxes, those are crazy. How does Boston sign players?
That's a great question.
Right? Elias Lindholm signed there. All right, real quick updates on the 2 players the Hurricanes have signed today. Jordan Martinook, 3 years, $3.05 annually, and former Vegas winger William Carrier, 6 years, $2 million per. Those are the 2 signings they've got. Obviously, Guentzel goes to Tampa, $9 a year for 7 years. Brady Skjei to Nashville, 7 times 7. Brett Pesce to New Jersey. New Jersey is moving, by the way. Pesce gets 6 times 5.5. Which, by the way, is exactly what I had written down as a guess. I thought Skjei might get more. I thought Skjei might get 7.5, but he got 7. Teuvo Teravainen, 3 years, $5.4 million, which is essentially a shorter version of the same contract he just played on with Carolina, which says to me that the Hurricanes simply didn't want him, which is kind of goofy.
There's a lot of question marks with these decisions.
So my feeling was that, and I thought going into free agency, that the Hurricanes made their mind up on Teravainen before the season. Not during the season, but before the season. And I think the season in some ways confirmed in their minds that he was worth letting go. And it wasn't about, did they think, this is probably where they valued him, but I think that they really didn't want him. And here's, in my opinion, Teuvo Teravainen's year. We can look at the numbers and say, oh, he had a good year. I think Teravainen was okay. I don't think he was particularly good. I think he was okay. I think he needed to be really good all year long, and I don't think that was the case. So he was kind of in and out of being Teuvo Teravainen. They needed him to be great. All right, let's go to David. You're on the Adam Gold Show. What's going on, David and Raleigh?
Hey, Adam. Teuvo's kind of a good segue. Just been thinking today about the second line. I know it's early, but Martinook, Drury, Necas, I thought they played really well in the playoffs, and I also think that wouldn't excite me on opening night.
No.
I think it's a tall ask for the college guys, too, on ELCs to step into something like that.
Correct.
What do you think might get done? Or yeah, right.
Here, look. There's a lot.
Us could play up, I guess.
There's a lot of thing to kind of process here. One, Martinook, Drury, and Necas was an effective line, I thought, in the postseason. I really did. I liked it. It's not a second line. And you may remember me saying this, whether it was on this show or on the podcast throughout the season. I find it hard to believe that you can win a Stanley Cup, and this is no disrespect to Jack Drury, if Jack Drury ultimately is your second center. And I'm talking about this in terms of scoring. Like, Jordan Staal is their second center, right? But he's really a checking center. He's not somebody that is designed to put the puck in the net. He should score a little bit more than he does, because especially with the chances he generates. But obviously, that is not who Jordan Staal is. So they needed somebody to really slot in between Aho and Staal. And they thought that maybe it would be Kuznetsov, right? It really depends on what Kuznetsov is. Here's the thing, and this is where it might have been cool to have Teravainen back. Kuznetsov centering Necas and Teravainen was actually a very effective line. It shocked me how effective it was when you took Svechnikov off of it and put Teravainen on it. It became a line that was generating a lot of chances, and it wasn't a defensive sinkhole. But unfortunately, when you put Svechnikov there, it became an absolute utter mess. It was a high danger chance against waiting to happen. But some of that is Kuznetsov just wasn't up to speed. He wasn't up to speed physically. He wasn't up to speed in terms of the system. So I don't know what to expect from him. In a perfect world, he would sort of return to being who he was, in which case you've got number 2 center kind of figured out. But if he doesn't, you're really at a loss. You're really at a loss. So I wonder what they're going to do. I was hoping that they would have heard my cries and gone after Elias Lindholm, but that was never going to happen.
Oh, gosh, please.
It was never going to happen. He's already signed with Boston. And again, these are the conversations I have with the team that I try to keep. Like, I just try to file it away for my own interest. The team was never really interested in Elias Lindholm, and I think that the decision to not bring Teuvo Teravainen back was made before this past season. I think they were just going to let him play it out. I actually thought that they might consider trading him during the season if the right deal came up, but they obviously didn't. That's a lot to replace. Teravainen is useful in every possible situation. That's a hard replacement for Carolina. They have a lot of work to do. There's no question. Right now, it'd be hard pressed to call them a playoff team. Right now, they don't have enough defensive depth, offensive scoring depth, or goaltending, honestly, to say they're a playoff team today. But we have had free agency open for 70 minutes, so I'm not going to throw dirt on them just yet. There we go.
For sure. We're not quite at the Nordstrom, Stahl, Nestrashil top 6 line days, but oof, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a pull. That's a pull right there. All right, well. Hey, you know what? Jeff Skinner's still out there in a buyout. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That would be, fun to set the internet on fire for a while, though.
It would. It would definitely set the internet on fire, and I'm not sure the head coach would love it. Yeah.
Maybe not.
No, he would not. He would not. Thank you very much, David. I appreciate your call.
Hey, we do have a little bit of not quite breaking news, but sort of semi. Elliot Friedman on the Twitters just said, not sure yet how this is going to look contract-wise, but hearing Sean Walker to Carolina.
Okay, defenseman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Colorado.
Good, good, solid. Actually, Colorado got him from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Good, solid defenseman. Look, they need their bottom pair now.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They're set in their top 4. You're going to have Slavin and Burns. You're going to have Orlov and Chatfield. So you have to solidify the third pair. I think Walker is a right defenseman. Either way, what I think Carolina wants is to not have to use Scott Morrow this year. They're going to have league minimum players. But you're going to have a number of players. You're going to have to be able to give these kids, the Bradley Nadeaus, Jackson Blakes, Scott Morrows of the world, you're going to have to say, you're going to have to earn your spot, or you're going to go back to the American Hockey League. You're more than happy to have them earn the spot. But they have to basically make your decision for you. Otherwise, you send them back to the American League and you let them play there half a year. And if they become ready, then you bring them up. But you can't say, well, we're counting on this, this, and this, because the truth of the matter is that we saw it last year in cameos, and they showed more like warts than they showed positive signs. I'm not saying there weren't positive signs. I thought the first game for Scott Morrow was way better than the second game for Scott Morrow. The second game was kind of a puck management disaster. That was the game in which Jesper Fast got hurt. Last game of the season, right? That's where he got hurt. Hopefully, by the way, Jesper Fast can come back. Apparently somebody saw him at the Justin Timberlake show here.
Oh, okay.
And he was still wearing the neck brace.
Oh.
So, look, I don't know what the recovery is. We know that he was legitimately hurt. So, I don't know if that injury is something that will impact him, like prevent him from starting the season on time. I mean, it could be a career ender. Like, neck injuries are no joke.
No, yeah, you don't want to mess with that.
I mean, Eric Cole played for a long time after a pretty severe neck injury, but he was taking a risk.
Yeah.
Every single time he played. And Jesper Fast plays in such a way that, man, that might not be a great idea. So, by the way, former Hurricane Warren Fogle signed a 3-year, $3.5 million a year contract with the LA Kings. Oh, and Ian Cole signed with Utah.
Oh, look at that.
Look at Ian Cole finding another gig. Good for him. All right, we'll come back. We'll reset. And also tonight in Kansas City, on a football field, American soccer in action in a must-win game.
Also not Travis Kelce.
Not Travis, but maybe.
Maybe he's there for support.
Maybe J.J. Watt will be there supporting U.S. soccer. But Jamie Watson will join us. He's played 12 years in Major League Soccer, and we'll talk about USA Uruguay coming up in a little bit. But we'll give you an update on what the Canes are doing, have done, haven't done, won't do. Next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Dave Doran and the NC State Wolfpack have somehow turned their buzz, turned their sizzle into an offensive version of that. For so long, it's been winning with defense. It's been Tony Gibson, their defensive coordinator, Peyton Wilson. Well, now they can't turn away wide receivers and running backs from the recruiting and transfer portal. Maybe it's a new Dave Doran. Maybe offense first.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. The insurance company wants to pay you the least amount possible. Law Tigers are riders too, so we understand what your bike and gear are worth and what you're going through after an accident. Your case evaluation is always free, and we don't get paid until your case settles. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm Tiffany.
I have some tips for you on how to quit smoking like I did. First, I did some reading about it. I found a lot of great advice on how to quit smoking and picked out the ways I thought would work best for me. I started by setting a quit date. Then I threw out my ashtrays, lighters, and matches. I did other things too, like exercising more, and it worked. But I'd still get cravings, especially on long car rides. To help me with that, I put a picture of my mother in my car. She died of lung cancer from smoking cigarettes when I was only 16. Now I have a 16-year-old daughter. That picture of my mother reminds me that I don't want to miss all the things my daughter is going to do in her life, including turning 17.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free from credit cards, car loan, and personal loans. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value is way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. Call now, 919-381-1760, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
This is Adam Gold.
North Carolinians wagered $659,308,541 on sports.
It's a little bit.
Treat it as entertainment only. Just look at it as fun.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Lot to do. Jamie Watson's going to join us in about 5 minutes. We'll take a break from all of this Carolina Hurricanes tumult to talk a little bit about USA Uruguay tonight. And because Copa America, this is the last chance for the United States to get into the knockout round. Canada, congratulations to them. Jesse Marsh and company have gotten through the group, and they are into what amounts to the quarterfinals. European Championships actually will be going on today, as they have two. Actually, there might be a match on now. I got Wimbledon on. I don't know why I have Wimbledon on as opposed to football. But either way, so let me get you up to date with a couple of things that the Hurricanes have done and have not done. So quick reset. We know Jake Guentzel basically yesterday agreed with Tampa, 7 years, $9 million per. Brady Skjei today, 7 years, $7 million with Nashville. Brett Pesce, 6 years, $5.5 million with New Jersey. Teuvo Teravainen, 3 years, $5.4 million with Chicago. Steph Nason, just announced, 3 years, $2.75 per with New Jersey. We're still waiting. Jordan Martinook is back. Carolina has also signed William Carrier to a 6-year, $12 million deal. I'm not entirely sure why that had to be 6 years, but that's what it is. And Tyson Jost, or Jost, I don't know, what is it? Or maybe Colin Jost.
Oh, maybe.
That would be even better. By the way, you know, Colin Jost is going to be covering the Olympics. He's doing surfing.
Really?
That seems very appropriate. I don't know why, but it does. But Tyson Jost, who played with Buffalo and Minnesota in the last couple of years, but before that, I think won a Stanley Cup with Colorado. It's kind of an energy forward, so the Hurricanes may be building the base. And Sean Walker, a defenseman, according to Elliot Friedman, is coming to Carolina, right shot defenseman, but we haven't seen what the terms of that deal are. So that is where we are. We're still waiting to see what happens with Martin Necas. But somebody asked me, who's going to score goals? So in many ways, Carolina is in a similar position to what they were really before they added Jake Guentzel. Who's going to score that big goal? And I would point out that they're in a less advantageous spot because no Teravainen, no Skjei, right? And remember, they also signed Michael Bunting last year to a free agent contract. And even though the difference between the goals that Guentzel scored and Bunting scored was only a handful, all right, you still didn't now you haven't replaced that because Guentzel is now in Tampa. If you looked at the Hurricanes right now and said, I see a playoff team,
lies.
You are very optimistic.
Yeah.
Because it is hard to do that. Yes, Aho's an all-star. Svechnikov should be. By the way, I have it on great authority that Andrei promised that he would be a consistent goal producer this year. I'm making that up. But he needs to be.
He absolutely needs to be.
More than ever, Andrei Svechnikov has to be one of those guys. He has to be
consistently too.
I'm not saying that Jake Guentzel's not a good player because I think he's a really good player. But why isn't Andrei that? I mean, seriously, why isn't Andrei the guy who is 30 to 40 goals every year now? It's about time.
Yeah, should be.
So that, and whether it's Martin Necas or they use Martin Necas to get another goal scorer, that spot must produce 30-ish goals. Seth Jarvis still hasn't been. They haven't. Like, if I were the Hurricanes, I would be announcing good things. When all of you remember when they said we want to keep as many of our free agents as we can?
Yeah.
Poor job so far.
Right.
Very poor job. You had 8 unrestricted free agents going into the offseason. You will have kept 2.
Yeah.
Now, they are the 2 that I said were priorities, partly because I never thought they would keep the others.
Yeah.
And they are Chatfield and Martinook.
Rod wanted to keep everyone. Yeah.
Okay. I need some sort of a break. All right, it's a pretty big game. We're going to take a break from all the Hurricanes madness because, frankly, Carolina can be a little bit frustrating. And there's a big game tonight, 9 o'clock, when all the free agent dust has settled or ice shavings have settled in the NHL. We can settle in and watch the United States take on Uruguay, and pretty simple. Win or you're out of Copa America. It's basically what it's going to be like because Panama is going to beat Bolivia, I'm sure. Jamie Watson, 12 years in MLS, now does broadcasting for MLS and the NWSL and everything. And wait, you were in studio not that long ago. We were talking about Man City versus Celtics. Some of those players are featured, including Cameron Carter-Vickers for the United States. He's kind of a second choice center back. So your level of optimism going to tonight against Uruguay at 9 o'clock.
Oh, first of all, it's great to be back on with you. You know, I'm a huge fan of your show, of you. So thank you so much, Adam, for having me on.
It's good.
And yeah, man, it's like counting down the hours now before kickoff. And I think we're just under, 10 hours away. And I am nervous beyond belief for the United States. Maybe more nervous for Greg Berhalter than anybody else, but I want it to go well for the U.S. I really, really do. I think that this could be a transformational win if they can beat Uruguay. And I'll tell you why. Because nobody expects the United States to do that right now. Just from the reality of where the United States have been in this tournament, the fact that Uruguay sit 14th in the FIFA rankings, U.S. are in 11th. But you and I both know those rankings don't maybe tell the full story right now. Uruguay looks really, really strong.
Yes.
A 5-0 win against Bolivia, a 3-1 win against Panama, the team that the United States lost to. Darwin Nunez can't stop scoring. I mean, this is a group that is much more adapt to tournament play and doing what it takes to get a result on the day than where I fear the United States is at this current moment in time. So that's why I'm nervous about it. But having said that, I do think the U.S. is capable of producing a performance that could get the results with their back up against the wall. And if they do, it could galvanize this group to go forward into the knockout stage. Or it could go terribly wrong and they lose and we just wax poetic tomorrow about it all, Adam. So I cannot wait to see how this is going to play out later tonight.
Jamie Watson is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. You can follow him on Twitter at JamieWatson77. All right, there's just a number of things. First of all, Uruguay's already through. Right, so it's not a match that they need. I don't even think they need it to win the group. I think if they win the match, I think they've already won the group because goal differential is going to be just absolutely crazy. Unless the United States wins 6-0. I think the combined score is 8-1 in Uruguay's two matches, and there is no head-to-head tiebreaker. There is, but it's well down the list. The first tiebreaker is goal differential, and I don't think the United States is going to get to that. So Uruguay is going to be number one in the group. So they don't have to win. I question, will they start everybody? The U.S. is the betting favorite in this. If people pay attention to that, they're plus 150. Uruguay is plus 190, I believe, to win the match. No Bielsa either. Their manager was suspended for this match. I'm not sure any of that matters because if you're Uruguay, you're probably looking at the United States going, yeah, let's kick them out.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Right. So here's my overall, I just want to get a couple of those things out. Here's my overall question. Because I don't think it matters to the future of Greg Berhalter as this cycle. I think he's going to be the manager, the head coach of the World Cup when we get to the World Cup. I just don't think it matters. I think it should, but I don't think it does. How do you read that?
I think you're right. I think what you have is the exact opposite of what most people in your chair with a microphone in front of them have. Is you have a rational take. I don't know that this game, whether it goes 3-0 to the good or 3-0 to the bad, let's get even crazier. Let's go 6-0 to the good or 6-0 to the bad. I really don't think it matters because I think the last thing that you want to do heading into the most pivotal moment for U.S. soccer, which is hosting the 2026 World Cup along with Canada and with Mexico, but mainly the United States is hosting this. You don't want to have turmoil and dark clouds hanging over the head of the direction of this entire U.S. soccer program. They made the decision with Greg Berhalter. And when all of the things happened and all the conjecture and reports that came out and investigations that were done, and when they decided to offer a new contract to Greg Berhalter, they really went all in with him.
Yeah.
And I think the last thing you could do now is reverse course from that. I think that would show more mismanagement than staying with him at this point because I think the group likes him. I don't know of another manager right now that can come in and can get this group going, from now until the World Cup without having all of the questions every day surrounding them. So with that, you have the most sensible take. I do think that getting through a difficult matchup like today could be something that you put in the back pocket in July of 2024 that you then pull out when we get to July of 2026, right? June, July, when the World Cup is going on. I look at this moment as if Greg Berhalter can say the right words and get the type of performance that is memorable in a good way from his top players, this could be the type of moment against the top 14 team in the world from a different continent when your backs are up against the wall. If you can do that today, I think you draw on that 24 months from now when the World Cup comes around. That's why I think it could be transformational. And I do think you're right. I do think sticking with Greg Berhalter now through the World Cup is the right decision unless something unforeseen happens from now. But I just don't think changing managers right now would serve any real purpose unless a no-brainer comes across from now until then. But again, that goes into the unforeseen category. So
right,
Jurgen Klopp, soccer, right, with rational takes. What are we doing here?
Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola decides, we want to manage the U.S. Then I'm sorry, Greg, you got to go. Even if you won Copa America, you got to go. Here's the thing. I just want to make it clear. I'm not Team Berhalter. I just feel like the U.S. soccer has decided that he's the guy, so it's pointless. It's utterly pointless to argue for a change at this point because it is not happening. Now, I wanted to get, in some ways, look at Panama, the Panama game, and then in other ways look ahead, and maybe it's the same conversation. First of all, Tim Weah is to blame. Nobody else is to blame for what happened with just an absolute lose your composure. Not even that, strong. He didn't punch him in the back of the head. It was more of a whack to the back of the head with like an open hand. Somehow that gets a 2-match suspension on top of missing, 80 minutes of a game that the U.S. had to win. But I didn't like the way Berhalter tried to sit back and absorb all of Panama's attack rather than just play, because it was Panama, not Portugal. I would have rather kept Gio Reyna on. I would have, at some point, Tyler Adams has to play more than 45 minutes, but I don't understand how Yunus Musa doesn't come on. I like Johnny Cardoso, but I'd rather have Musa on the field. I would have never taken Reyna off because you could have simply won the game, even down a man against Panama, because it's Panama, not Portugal. And I wonder how they're going to set up. Will they set up? You got to set up to attack against Uruguay, no?
Yeah. No, look, and the reality is I agree totally with you. This is why I love talking soccer with you, because you know your stuff inside and out. It's Panama in a intercontinental tournament on home soil. I don't care that you get a red card 18 minutes into the game. And it's an inexcusable red card. Tim Weah is too good of a player. He's too smart. It's what lesser teams do when they're playing against better teams. They try to do all the things that distract you because no one wants to stand in the ring with Mike Tyson and throw punches. You're going to bounce around and do all the things to not sit there and throw haymakers, right? I'm not saying the United States is Mike Tyson right now, but you get what I'm saying, right? Panama looks at him and goes, you're the big bad top of the food chain for this team, or for this CONCACAF region. We need to do what we can to try to get a result, and that's try to get under the skin of players. They did that 18 minutes into the game and were able to get Tim Weah sent off. I agree wholeheartedly with you, though. If you sit there and just say, okay, this doesn't change what we're doing because we're that much better than you, we're going to continue to play with two up top. We're not going to take off one of our most creative, dynamic players in Gio Reyna. Tyler Adams is going to say Musa does come on. Yeah, I totally agree with every decision that you're saying there, because I think you almost send a message to the group that says, I think we're better than this team with one less player. And Balogun scores a world-class goal. You're up 1-0. I mean, you give away another one really, really quickly after that. That's where maybe the player's head drop. As a manager, what can you do to control that? Send a message by saying, I don't care that we're down. We're playing instead of, what they started the game with the 4-3-3. We're going to play, a 4-3-2 or a 3-4-2. We're going to do something that's still so attack-oriented that my players get the message and the other team gets the message, and that's who I am as a coach, because coaches can only affect certain things throughout a game. That was a big thing Greg Berhalter could have affected in a positive way. Instead, I think he chose to affect it in a more reserved and conservative way that ultimately put them in a position that they were never going to go and get the winner. Right. Except maybe for that one header at the end, they had the chance when it was 1-1 that Pepe should have scored. But other than that, Panama looked like the team that really had their tails up and ready to go for all 3 points at the end of the day.
It was basically an inevitability, the way the match played in the second half, that Panama was going to have enough chances. On top of that, you were down to your second-choice goalkeeper because Matt Turner went off at halftime after the collision. I don't understand why that wasn't a yellow card, but I get the complaint about the referee because he has a reputation of being all over the place, but it bothered me that Berhalter brought that up after the match because it sounded to me like an excuse, and we didn't need excuses. Real quick, no Weah tonight. So does Rhea go out to the right and you bring Musa in? How do you deal with this? They another guy that we have missed the entire cycle. No Serginho Dest. They haven't really replaced him. Joe Scally is okay at this level, but he's not anything close to Dest, and Dest has his own defensive issues, and of course he also lost his cool in a rhythm the last time we saw him. But he's actually injured here, and we haven't been able to replace him. Would you put Reyna out wide?
100% I would. Put Reyna out wide, let him go attack with Pulisic, Balogun as well, bring in Musa, let him carry from the midfield. Adams and McKinney push on, and I think that's how the United States put themselves in the best chance to be able to get the win that they need against Uruguay and have that transformational moment in this tournament that could pay dividends, come 2026 when the U.S. is hosting the World Cup.
All right, final thing for Jamie Watson, and again, July 23rd, by the way, City and the reigning Premier League champions 4 years running. And
yes,
Celtic.
Are you going to be there with me? Are you coming?
Yes, I am. I'm flying all over the place because my son's playing in an event in Denver the previous week, and then I'm flying him up to New York. But I'm going to be there on the 23rd. I just have to figure out when I'm coming back. Yes, it is going to be a blast, and we just saw the Premier League trophy here for the soccer tournament. You could have taken a picture with it for a fee, which is great. So Garrett Southgate in England, they're through. They feel pretty good about themselves. What a poop show that was yesterday until Jude Bellingham decided to pull off a moment of brilliance about 60 seconds before England was sent home.
It's absolutely crazy. This is the wildness of a tournament, and this is why I love texting with you and going back and forth about all these games and what do we predict and what do you think is going to happen. Nobody predicted that England was going to be 60 seconds away from being out of the tournament with only Slovakia to play, a team that was 40 places lower than them in the world rankings. Yet here we were, and then Jude Bellingham pulls out a moment which could end up winning the Puskas Award, which is the best goal of the year. Every year they vote for it.
Right.
And a bicycle kick to keep your country in a tournament. But one of the moments, this is what we don't have right now. We don't have a player that will rise to the occasion consistently like Bellingham. And, of course, it's easy to say the guy playing at Real Madrid and playing for England and whatnot. But when this guy scores, he runs over to the corner, holds his arms out, and you can read his lips, and he says, who else?
Right.
Give me the guy that has the confidence, that really believes in that moment with an entire weight of a nation on your shoulders in the last 60 seconds to have the audacity to try a bicycle, yet the ability to pull it off. And then Bellingham goes to the corner, arms wide open, and says, who else?
Unbelievable.
I need that. I want that. I want to play with a guy on a team like that. I want that guy representing, if I'm not playing, I want him representing my country. We need somebody to step up and maybe have that cockiness, but also a way that you can back it up. It's that fine line between, confident and cocky, and Bellingham rides that better than anybody. But, man, Southgate may have been the one that hugged Bellingham the hardest after the game because that may have just saved his job. And so
yes,
you don't hug anybody better than a bro who saves your job. So I'm pretty sure Gareth Southgate woke up this morning going, I'm definitely sending Jude Bellingham a nice Christmas gift this year.
At Jamie Watson 77 on Twitter, my friend. I'll talk to you very soon. Thank you so much. I got to get back to talking about the Canes.
All right, sounds good. I'll talk to you soon, and I will see you on July 23rd at Keenan Stadium at FCSeries.com. Man City versus Celtic. Cannot wait to see you there, brother.
All right, that will be a blast. USA Uruguay tonight. When we come back, the latest hurricane that isn't coming back. Next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
ACT Construction Equipment is proud to be your certified local Takeuchi dealer in Charlotte, Winston-Salem, Asheville, Wilmington, and Myrtle Beach. Takeuchi has long been a world leader in the compact construction industry. Let ACT Construction Equipment help you find the right machine for the job. Our full line of excavators, track loaders, and attachments are designed for low maintenance and high productivity. Stop in today for a demo or visit us online at actce.com. ACT Construction Equipment, your authorized Takeuchi dealer.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And even as the playoffs wind down in basketball and hockey, there's still stuff worth wagering on if you are so inclined. And FanDuel wants to give you incentive to just keep a little skin in the game. Open up the app and enjoy all summer long. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There is something for everyone every day all summer long. Go to FanDuel.com/AGS, FanDuel.com/AGS, and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Must be 21 or older and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Wager requirements apply. Bonuses awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bets or profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including bonus expiration. See terms and conditions at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Everyone goes through tough times, and everyone can get through them, as long as they don't have to do it alone. Dial 988 if you need someone to talk to. Get what you need to get to a better place. Together, we'll find the care that works best for you. We're here 24/7. Call, text, or chat 988. 988. Let's get through it together. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell has a great sense of timing, like bringing out Southern Blackberry Cobbler ice cream in time for summer. Rich ice cream with luscious blackberry flavor combined with flaky pie crust pieces and a blackberry swirl. The perfect summertime treat.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Virtual healthcare is changing the way that traditional medicine is being delivered. Ironically, treating some people from afar is actually increasing access to medical health. Dr. Matt Anderson is with Charlotte-based Advocate Health, a member of the North Carolina Healthcare Association. He says telehealth is enhancing the ability of doctors and nurses to treat more people in better ways.
What we've really tried to do is build out that infrastructure from a virtual standpoint to enable us to better impact the health of our communities in a more convenient, simple, and easy way.
Learn how telehealth methodologies are not only saving people money, but how virtual medicine is transforming lives and the health of our communities. I'm Christine Bellino. Join me and my guest, Dr. Matt Anderson, for the latest edition of Conversations on the State of Healthcare, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association. And for more information, listen to our podcast on the North Carolina News Network and visit nchealthcare.org.
This is Adam Gold.
Victoria, you played sports in high school, right?
Oh, yeah. Basketball, and I swam.
Could you imagine competing for $1 million?
No.
$1 million.
No. I competed for plastic trophies.
I was also a high school athlete, baseball player. No, and I could never even imagine it.
No.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Before we stretch and place bets, here's where we are with the Carolina Hurricanes. Should we talk about the ins first?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right, let's talk about the ins.
Hopefully it's a positive thing.
Yeah, no, people are going to be mad.
Oh, no.
The ins, or the stay, There we go. The market has opened. Jordan Martinook agreed 3 years, $3.05 million per. Also here, William Carrier, a winger from Vegas, 6 years, $2 million per. Tyson Jost, I don't know how you pronounce it. He was with Buffalo last year, was also with Minnesota 2 years ago. I remember him with Vegas. Not a lot of goals, but also not a lot of money. Basically a league minimum deal, $775,000. Sean Walker, right shot defenseman, 29 years old, can play a little bit with some physicality. I think that's a good signing. I think it's a good third pair defenseman for Carolina. So good on that one for Sean Walker. I don't believe I have forgotten anything else. Oh, Jacob Slavin's extension was announced today, 8 years and just under $6.5 million, which basically gives him about a little bit more than $1 million a year raise over the contract he has been playing on and will play on this year. Now, to those players not with the Carolina Hurricanes, who played with the Hurricanes last year. Jake Guentzel to Tampa, 7 years, $9 million per. Brady Skjei to Nashville, 7 years, $7 million per. Brett Pesce to New Jersey, 6 years, $5.5 million a year. Teuvo Teravainen to Chicago, 3 years, $5.4 million. The exact same average annual value he just played on. And Steph Nason to New Jersey, 3 years, $2.75 million per. All right, this will be an unpopular take. If this were an either or, Jordan Martinook or Steph Nason, I am taking Jordan Martinook 100 times in a row. But it doesn't have to be an either or. It could have been a both. I would rather have Steph Nason at 3 times 2.5 than William Carrier at 6 times 2. That's better for me. I would much rather have Nason. All right. This was asked of me. Do I think that it has been a good start to the Hurricanes summer? And I know this was asked facetiously, but the answer is no. And here's why. In spite of what people want to believe, Jake Guentzel wanted to stay. Because here is the reality. 8 times 8 was a hometown discount. That was a discount. And they started with the discount. Nason, July 1. I said this from the beginning when they acquired him. I said he's always going to July 1st because it's his opportunity to A, determine where he wants to play, and B, get the most out of the system he could. I never thought they were going to re-sign him, but he was willing to take the discount. $8 million per is a $1 million discount for Jake Guentzel. And they tried to make that discount. They tried to throw a coupon on top of the discount.
Right.
You can only, discounted price, you can't throw a coupon on top of it.
No.
But that's what they tried. And they tried double coupons. Do grocery stores?
It used to be a thing.
Do grocery stores do that? Yeah,
Not now.
We used to do. I used to cut coupons when I was right out of college. We cut coupons. Yeah.
My mom and I did it all the time.
Serious stuff that you would never buy. Suddenly, I got a coupon for it, so we'll get it.
If I ever do.
Yeah.
It's cheaper.
So that's what they tried to do. And it's like, sorry, it doesn't work. So it's like you ever try to go into Dick's Sporting Goods and you have 2 different coupons, right? But it says there on one coupon per,
the
right?
fine print.
Like, yeah, this one, it's not coming up on the register.
Yeah.
It's not registered.
It's dinging.
Yeah. So he already gave you the discount. Sign the contract. agree to it, move on. He wanted to be here. But they slow played it. They slow walked themselves into a market battle that they were not prepared to win.
Yeah.
So that's the failure. The Brady Skjei, again, I would endorse bringing him back, but understand this. Necas from Russia, who will be here by the end of the year and certainly will be here next year, he's going to walk into your top four. And he's a lefty. Slavin's a lefty. Skjei's a lefty. Necas can play his offside, but Rod doesn't really like when players play their offside, and I think he likes it less when young players play their offside. It's a rarity for him. So it's certainly on the defensive side of the puck. Offensively, you can make an argument that you should have guys playing on their off wing, right? Because you have one-timer possibilities, which we need more of on our power play. Speaking of our power play, Steph Nason.
Yeah.
Nason, Teravainen, Guentzel, Skjei.
It's a big hit.
It's four pieces of your power play.
I know.
Just skated out the door.
Exactly.
So
Skjei was the one who got us the winning goal in the playoffs.
Right. So this is, unfortunately, this has been a bad, going back to Thursday now, it's been a bad stretch for Carolina. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's been a complete, that the sky is falling. They still have moves to make, and they still will make moves. They have plenty of cap room, and they have cap room they have to use. So it's not like you can, and we know that they're going to be a cap team. Tom Dundon has always said it. So there are things that they can and will do to make the team better. Oh my gosh, I talked through the whole segment.
It's okay.
So
it's kind of important.
It is. Well, it is. It's an important day for the Hurricanes. So there are going to be more moves made. We're going to assess this when they're done, but this should have gone differently from the beginning. It should have gone differently with Guentzel, which would have allowed them the freedom to move Necas for the right deal, not to be desperate. And the truth is that deal would have allowed them a high draft pick and probably plus an additional piece. And unfortunately, because the first thing didn't get done, the second thing couldn't get done. And now here's where we are, and not a lot.
And we're not learning from our own history either.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. That question was also asked, did we learn? Have we learned from past mistakes? And the answer obviously is no. But who knows? We'll see. We'll see going forward.
Hopefully they know something we don't, or see something we don't.
The market has been open for 2 hours, and longer than that, really, because everybody's been negotiating probably for the last 4 days. But there will be trades made. There are plenty of teams that are going to have major cap issues. I don't know. Maybe they're waiting to go get Mitch Marner. I'm not sure I want Mitch Marner, but maybe they're waiting to go get Mitch Marner. Maybe they're going to send Necas to Toronto for Mitch Marner. I don't know. They might do that. Marner's a dynamite defensive player, by the way. He does a good job killing penalties, but so it's not over. Let's wait and see what happens when it is over. But it has not been a great start. Wall of Sound and more. Maybe some Hurricanes updates next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my man, Coach Pete DeRuta, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. He is a fiduciary. Everybody there are fiduciaries, and that means they are legally obligated to do right by you, no commissions. They are here to make sure that you can get to retirement with everything you need. And think about this. If you just entered the workforce and you start planning for retirement now, you are way ahead of the game. I tell my son this all the time. And let's say you're in your 40s and you haven't really started started. Do it now. Coach Pete D'Arruda can help, and he can help design a plan for you that will get you to retirement with everything you need to live the life you want to lead. So let's do this right now. Call 888-843-0013 or text Adam to 600-700, and that total customized retirement plan, $1,000 value, yours free if you call today. 888-843-0013 or text Adam to 600-700 for Coach Pete D'Arruda.
Move your sports day forward.
It's okay to drive an old car. I have one. It's a 19-year-old car. But what do I do when I catch a nail? I just go get the tire fixed. What happens when my oil runs low? I just put new oil in. I don't go out and buy the new car. But maybe it's time for this team in this offseason to go buy the damn new car.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hungry for flavor and value? Then it's Bo time. Nothing slays the hunger beast like some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. And there's never been a better time to satisfy your Bojangles sandwich cravings than now. With Bojangles Summer Sandwich lineup, you can choose a flavorful Cajun fried chicken filet sandwich, or a tender Cajun grilled chicken filet sandwich, or a crispy Cajun filet club sandwich, or a tasty Bo's chicken sandwich. Make it a sandwich combo and add your choice of a side. Maybe Bojangles seasoned fries, dirty rice, or Cajun pintos. And to complete the perfect meal, Bojangles legendary iced tea. There's a Bojangles sandwich combo for everyone in the family. Summer just doesn't get any better than that. What are you waiting for? You know you're hungry, and you know you want flavor and value. So, it's Bojangles Sandwich Combo time.
How is your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then, someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Window Nation can help beat the heat in your home with a buy two, get two free offer on insulated, energy-efficient windows, plus 0 down and no interest or payments for 2 years. Schedule an in-home estimate now at 866-90NATION or windownation.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
This hour of buzzer-beating, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sports action on 99.9 The Fan is powered by
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Yeah, it's never fun to see guys leave that you've been teammates with for a long time. And one thing that's amazing about this organization, this team, this leadership group that we do have is we're a great culture to come into. Guys are going to come in, they're going to feel at home right away. They're going to feel confident in how they play the game and how we play the game. And it's a lot of work, but it's the right type of work to play the game that we play. And so I don't see this as a step back losing those guys. It's going to look a different personnel, but we still have the same culture, same identity, and same confidence moving forward.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria's here. Jacob Slavin. We'll hear more from Slavin in just a bit. We talked about we're going to have the same leadership core. We're going to explain where that's true and where that's not, coming up in just a few minutes and a little bit later on, because we haven't really talked about it at all. I've referred to it. A huge, momentous day in the history of the Atlantic Coast Conference, as we now have spread to both coasts. We are not only an Atlantic, but also a Pacific Coast Conference. Stanford and Cal, come on down. SMU, you're located right there in the heart of Texas in Dallas. Come on down. Your next contestant on the conference is getting bigger. Have to expand our belt size. Now an 18-team league. Actually, I guess it's 17 for football, unless Florida State and Clemson decide to just not play football anymore,
right?
Because it's not worth their time. But anyway, we'll talk about Florida State versus the ACC with David McKenzie later on. But we got a lot of things to do, including listen to more Jacob Slavin and also kind of give you an update on what Carolina has done.
The wall of sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, so I'm going to make this suggestion real quick to Victoria before I continue. Wipe out the one you've already used, because I don't know which one we're describing here, so we don't repeat Jacob Slavin's sound. But let me just explain one player that Carolina did not keep of their unrestricted free agents. And remember, going into the offseason, the Hurricanes had 8 unrestricted free agents. They were Jake Guentzel, Brady Skjei, Brett Pesce, Teuvo Teravainen, Jordan Martinook, Jalen Chatfield, Steph Nason, Tony DeAngelo. All but one of them have already signed. Only DeAngelo of those 8 unrestricted free agents has not signed. I'm not talking about Tony. I'm just pointing this out as a matter of fact. Chatfield signed, 2 weeks ago? 3 times 3? Yay. Jake Guentzel wanted to sign, didn't work out. Pretty disappointed at how this and why it didn't work out. And I think Carolina got burned by what is Tom Dundon's negotiating style, which is I'm going to get to the 1-yard line, and then I'm going to call a timeout, and I'm going to go get a sandwich, and maybe I'll go hit some golf balls. I don't know. I got a pickleball tournament to run. We'll get back to it. And this hasn't necessarily burned him too badly. They were burned by Sebastian Aho the first time when Aho received the offer sheet from Montreal. I pointed this out on the most recent Canes Corner podcast. It isn't that it was too expensive. Carolina matched it. It's that deal should have been a little bit less expensive than it was, and it should have been for 8 years, not 5. So Carolina wouldn't have had to have gone and paid Sebastian Aho yet. We would still have 3 more years left on that first contract. But that's not how it worked. And this was about style, negotiating style that brought us to this point. And this time, Guentzel is a player that wanted to be here. And Carolina was like, well, see if we can get him to go a little bit lower than he's asking. 8 times 8. Come on. You guys are smart. You knew when the market opened that he would be at least a $9 million a year player. And I think had it gone to July 1st and it became a bidding war, I think that number would have been closer to 10. 9 was like the low end of the scale for Guentzel. And I'm not saying that Jake Guentzel is like Brett Hull in his heyday. He's not that. But he's a bona fide goal scorer. He is a point producer. He is defensively responsible. He is exactly what Carolina loves in a player. And he wanted to be here. And because you slow-walked it, you blew that. Because you met the ask, but you met the ask too late. And you can't feel like you were left at the altar when you were like, well, I'm not sure I want to get married.
Right.
Then, because they didn't get that done, whatever they were trying to do with Martin Necas, although what I read about Columbus was that Necas was really the one who scuttled that one by not wanting to negotiate an extension. So he would have done a 1-year deal with Columbus, and they weren't doing that for the 4th overall pick, which I totally understand. Don Waddell's not a dummy. And I would also point out that this organization is not filled with dummies either. They will figure out a way to put a quality team on the ice. Right now, they haven't done that yet. Right now, they've got a fairly sizable hole in the middle of their lineup. One that will probably either have to be filled by Martin Necas or filled by a player you bring in a trade for Martin Necas. So that's where we are with the Hurricanes. Let me get to one thing very quickly. And this is, I think, a little bit troublesome. 3 years, $5.4 million a year for Teuvo Teravainen is exactly the contract the Hurricanes like.
Yeah.
Low years, still get a little motivation there. Teuvo Teravainen's clearly not done as a player. He's not the 70-point-a-game guy that you had and paying him $5.4 million a year. Keep in mind, the Hurricanes knew for a fact that the contract that Teravainen was playing on was awesome for the team. He was outperforming the contract. Now, when his production kind of sounds like a $5.4 million a year player, and he's part of your culture, now you walk away. All right, and this is what I said earlier. This is a decision that was made before this season, not after it. That is a mistake. You could have kept Teravainen for 3 years at the same money. No excuse. No excuse. The Hurricanes have a major, major issue. I trust they will address it because they've got to spend some money. But they have to find it's either Necas or it's a player they acquire for Necas. They must acquire more goal scoring. I would also like to see them get some size. All right, to some Jacob Slavin stuff today. They announced his contract extension. Oh, by the way, sign the Seth Jarvis contract extension now.
Yeah, please
get
don't
it done
wait.
now because your fan base needs some positive news.
Yes.
They need something to go, hey, love that. All right, Jacob Slavin. Why are he and Carolina hand glove?
I mean, from an organization, obviously we have a lot of amazing people that have ran. I mean, even from the time I came here with Ron Francis being at the head, and then obviously you bring in Roddy as head coach, and as a couple years in my career here, and so just having really good leadership here is one reason for it. But then you just look at the community and how this organization is a part of it. I think that's what makes it really easy to make that decision to stay here forever and to be a good fit here. Is being with really good people.
Also worth pointing out, and it was asked of Jacob Slavin, his thoughts on some of the core players, the Skjeis, the Pesces. Remember, Slavin and Pesce came in together, basically. They were separated by a couple of weeks. Skjei became a mainstay, really part of the core on the blue line. Both of them are gone. Teuvo Teravainen was brought here the year before Rod Brindamore was the head coach. I mean, there's a lot of this core that is now gone. Slavin on that.
Yeah, it's never fun to see guys leave that you've been teammates with for a long time, and you grow friendships, but also it's hockey, and that's part of it. And so, yeah, hockey. But I think one thing that's amazing about this organization, this team, this leadership group that we do have is we're a great culture to come into. Guys are going to come in, they're going to feel at home right away. They're going to feel confident in how they play the game and how we play the game, and it's a lot of work, but it's the right type of work to play the game that we play. And so I don't see this as a step back losing those guys. It's gonna look a different personnel, but we still have the same culture, same identity, and same confidence moving forward.
I mean, all of those things are true, right? I mean, it sucks to see part of your core leave, but they do have. Aho is here. Svechnikov, who has promised to score more goals this year.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm making that up, obviously. But they need him.
Yeah.
They need Andrei to be that guy all the time, not just in, stretches.
Yeah.
They seriously, it's time for 80-point Andrei.
Please, and thank you. I feel like Jacob Slavin and Dave Canales would be friends, though, listening to these clips. He's so positive and optimistic.
Jacob is super positive and optimistic at all times. Look, he's a great player. He's going to be a forever Hurricane. They made that much clear. In general, the Hurricanes need to understand that you have to do your business early. They got to this point because they didn't do any of this last year. None of it. They should have done it last year. Like, not even joking. They should have done a lot of this last year. They could have locked up Teuvo Teravainen last year. But again, what did I say about Turbo? They made the decision to move on from him last year. I'm convinced of it. We're going to call it a slow start because we've only been doing this 2 hours and 12 minutes today. And there are plenty of things that they can do to put a better team on the ice. But right now, your top line is Svechnikov, Aho, and Jarvis. And I can't even come up with a second line.
No. That's where we're at.
Right. So there's work to be done. They have a lot. They have the bottom six, I think, taken care of. Now it's time to fill out the other part of your top six goal scorers. And honestly, Necas or a Necas replacement has to be part of it. Gonna have to repair some things with Marty, but I don't think anything is irreparable there. Steph Nason leaving hurts.
Yeah, it does.
Jordan Martinook staying helps. I know people are mad at it, but you shouldn't be.
No.
He is absolutely bringing him back is the correct thing to do.
He's so valuable on and off the ice.
Right.
It's a good move.
It's not fake hustle. He is a legitimately good and helpful player. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We're talking about all the things that Carolina didn't do. Teams around the league have spent a boatload of money, including Bachelorette Party Central. Next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's the summer of soccer.
Federski for Capetti. It's stolen away by Hack. Kept alive by Gaines. A shot. He scores!
All the saves.
Polina with brilliant quick footwork across his 6-yard box to be able to recover and grab the strike from Kubo.
All the goals.
He just sends it back into the area for Swiderski. One touch. He scores!
The Triangle's home for Charlotte FC action. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
On average, people spend over a third of their life sleeping, yet most sleep disorders go undiagnosed.
I'm Megan Gigling, General Manager of Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sleep struggles left untreated can lead to health problems and have a serious effect on your quality of life. We've served the Triangle for 20 years. Let us help you get the sleep you've been dreaming of.
If you're in need of a sleep study, a knowledgeable doctor, CPAP machine, or supplies, Parkway has you covered. For more information or to schedule an appointment, visit parkwaysleep.com. Sound sleep, sound health.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Grilling. Better with Pepsi.
For a limited time, get 2 20-ounce Pepsis for only $4.25 at Refuel. So hurry in and enjoy an ice-cold Pepsi today.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah, crazy story. So I'm at the Nissan Thrill of Summer sales event when Dave, the sales guy, asks, "Want to test drive the Rogue?" And I'm like, "Let's go." We're driving when Dave says, "Check out the VC turbo engine." I hit the gas and whoosh. I'm like, "Okay, I wasn't expecting that." Dave goes, "If you think that's cool, watch this." Dave shows me the miles per gallon and I'm like, "Whoa, that's pretty impressive fuel economy." Dave mentions, "These new cars are going fast." And in that moment, I had to have that Rogue. Crazy, right?
Wait till you hear how I got my Sentra.
Get up to $1,000 July 4th bonus cash on select 2024 Rogue trims. Shop the Nissan sales event. Visit your local Nissan store and nissanusa.com today. 2024 EPA fuel economy estimates from 28 city, 34 highway to 30 city, 37 highway for 2024 Nissan Rogue. Actual mileage may vary. $1,000 July 4th bonus cash on 2024 Rogue Platinum. $500 July 4th bonus cash on 2024 Rogue SV and SL trims. Available on lease or purchase from new dealer stock. Contact dealer for details. N7824.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing, made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories, all without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver, all the taste, no bitter endings. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew, 30 seconds, that's it. Done. Peace.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
This is Adam Gold.
Please let the coach and GM pick this year.
Right.
And they put this on the sign outside of the restaurant, and I guess David Tepper actually went inside this restaurant.
Do you know that there is security video of that visit?
Wow.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. We'll get an update on where we are with the ACC versus Florida State coming up in a few minutes with David McKenzie, who's a intellectual property attorney, and that's really what is at the heart of FSU v. ACC. It's all about intellectual property. That's what the games are. And for those people who don't know, Florida State and Clemson both are suing, have been countersued. Actually, the ACC suit against Florida State was actually filed first. Theoretically, Florida State's lawsuit is the countersuit. But either way, we'll talk about where we are. And for the most part, everything that has been being fought over so far is simply where we're going to play this game. We're fighting over like whose stadium we're going to play in, more than we're fighting over the merits of the lawsuits at this point. But we'll talk to David McKenzie about it coming up at the bottom of the hour. Anyway, let's get to some day one free agency news, and we'll set the Hurricanes aside for a little bit, although they certainly are impacted by this. The Nashville Predators have bought everybody. I shouldn't say everybody. They've
Feels
made
like it.
3 monumental signings.
Huge moves.
Steven Stamkos, 4 years, $8 million per. Interestingly enough, the Lightning or other teams were thinking about going small money but longer years.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to lower the average annual value, and they were going to front load the contract where you'd get most of that money up front, and then, you know, when you're 42 and you're not playing at all, then we'll figure out a way to make it work, even though you're probably stuck with that cap hit.
And who knows, the rules might change completely when they get to the next CBA. But Stamkos was not into it, and he signs 4 years, $8 million per with Nashville. Brady Skjei, 7 years, $7 million per with the Predators. And Jonathan Marchessault, a couple of years last year, right? Last year won a Stanley Cup with the Vegas Golden Knights and was an original expansion draft member of the Golden Knights.
Started it off.
He signs with Nashville. I think it's 6 years or 7 years at $5.5 million. So they've been busy, and they still have a little bit of room under the cap.
Yeah.
That's the other thing about the Hurricanes. Did Carolina have a lot of cap room? Yeah, but they needed a lot of players. So with their signings so far, Martinook, Tyson Jost, William Carrier, and Sean Walker, no big-ticket items there.
No.
The biggest ticket, honestly, as far as I could tell, is Jordan Martinook. We haven't seen the numbers for Sean Walker yet. But the Hurricanes basically have $20 million, actually a little bit more than $20 million to play with. Well, it all depends on what Walker got. And still 6 or so players to sign.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can spend like oodles of money out there. But if you're going to be a cap team, as Tom Dundon says he always will be, well, there's plenty of room to spend.
I know. That's what's concerning to me. I feel like they had gaps they need to fill, and now there's more.
Still have to re-sign Seth Jarvis.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to do something with Martin Necas.
Yeah.
We'll see where Carolina is on the trade market. I said two things. I said it last night. I said it today. We should not be surprised that the Hurricanes do not dip heavily into free agents. They never have, other than last year, and that was a market correction. So this is who they are. They're never going to sign free agents. Last year also was the first year they really added something at the deadline to help the team. But they are willing to look at trades to help the team. And that's where I believe they will likely do their most impactful work in reshaping the roster next year. Could Martin Necas be used to bring in another high-profile player? Could be. I'll say this. For many years, they have really liked Nick Ehlers with Winnipeg. Well, Winnipeg and Ehlers are trying to negotiate a divorce. They are trying to get away from each other.
Who gets the dog?
Right?
Who gets the house?
Winnipeg also has a young player. I don't know him other than I think it's pronounced McGordy, a young player that won't play for them. He said, "I'm not playing here." They still control his rights for another year, much like Adam Fox told the Hurricanes, "I'm not playing here," and they traded his rights to the Rangers. I don't know if you could trade Necas to Winnipeg and get Ehlers and McGordy. I have no idea if you could do that, but it might be something that they are considering. The drawback to that is Ehlers, I believe, only has one more year left in a contract. He's a really good player, though. So we should, I mean, if that ended up happening, I think that would be a solid return, but you'd have to know that you could re-sign Nick Ehlers. And the Hurricanes could also trade Necas to Toronto. Toronto and Mitch Marner are not necessarily in love with each other anymore. And even though I think Toronto would really like to keep him, they can't keep everybody. So it at least bears keeping an eye on as we go forward. But the truth of the matter is that for this Hurricanes team, the improvement always has to come from within. So when you look at this team, you say to Andrei Svechnikov, it's time. It's time to stop being potential. It's time to stop being Well, he helps us win even when he's not on the score sheet. You can do that and also be on the score sheet. Those are not mutually exclusive ideas. So it's time for Andrei to become the player that they are paying him to be. Maybe down the road, we look back and we go, boy, that was a monumental waste. Anything is possible. Right now, Andrei is a very good player. You don't pay very good players $7.75 million a year. You pay them $5 million a year. Nothing wrong with being a very good player. Andrei is being paid like a great player. He needs to be that. And that means he needs to score. It's time. Time for him to be that guy. Seth Jarvis has to get paid. They got to deal with Jack Drury. There's still a lot to do for this team, but they're going to have to find some goals. Necas can certainly help that, but at this point, a lot of people want Necas to help you get somebody else. I'm good either way. I love Necas. I think he can be even a better player than he was this year, and I thought he was good in the playoffs. So, but they need that guy. Anyway, we'll take a break. We'll come back. If there's any more updates, we'll give you those, and we'll also bring in David McKenzie, intellectual property attorney on the ACC versus Florida State, and where we are as we celebrate SMU, Cal, and Stanford joining the ACC. I'm smiling through this, people. It's not a celebration. Next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Trust ACT Construction Equipment and Avant Articulated Loaders for the right equipment to help get your work done. Avant makes the most multifunctional loaders in the world. Whether you're a landscaping pro or homeowner serious about property maintenance, you need an Avant loader. ACT Construction Equipment is your authorized Avant dealer for sales, service, part, and rentals. Visit one of our 7 locations or actce.com for more details about Avant Articulated Loaders. ACT Construction Equipment, always the right equipment for the job.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And even as the playoffs wind down in basketball and hockey, there's still stuff worth wagering on if you are so inclined. And FanDuel wants to give you incentive to just keep a little skin in the game. Open up the app and enjoy all summer long. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There is something for everyone every day all summer long. Go to FanDuel.com/AGS, FanDuel.com/AGS, and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Must be 21 or older and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Wager requirements apply. Bonuses awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bets or profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including bonus expiration. See terms and conditions at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell is known for flavors that push the boundaries of taste. Our oatmeal cream pie ice cream is an oatmeal-flavored ice cream with hints of brown sugar mixed with soft oatmeal cookies and a vanilla icing swirl. We've set the bar sky high for deliciousness.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Virtual healthcare is changing the way that traditional medicine is being delivered. Ironically, treating some people from afar is actually increasing access to medical health. Dr. Matt Anderson is with Charlotte-based Advocate Health, a member of the North Carolina Healthcare Association. He says telehealth is enhancing the ability of doctors and nurses to treat more people in better ways.
What we've really tried to do is build out that infrastructure from a virtual standpoint to enable us to better impact the health of our communities in a more convenient, simple, and easy way.
Learn how telehealth methodologies are not only saving people money, but how virtual medicine is transforming lives and the health of our communities. I'm Christine Bellino. Join me and my guest, Dr. Matt Anderson, for the latest edition of Conversations on the State of Healthcare, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association. And for more information, listen to our podcast on the North Carolina News Network and visit nchealthcare.org.
The North Carolina Zoo in Asheboro is excited to announce that the Canine Champions for Conservation is back for a second year. This guest favorite experience features rescue dogs performing thrilling agility challenges to raise awareness and support for wildlife conservation efforts. Shows run now through Labor Day weekend and are free with entry to the North Carolina Zoo. To learn more about this tail-wagging experience and other zoo-related activities, visit nczoo.org. Plan your next zoo adventure today.
This is Adam Gold.
Thank you very much for your time, man. We will talk again.
Adam, anytime for you, my friend.
Thank you. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Why does that make me laugh?
I don't know. Maybe you just are used to people being mean to you or something, like Twitter. I don't know.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. We're going to get an update on the ACC versus Florida State in just a couple of minutes. The Hurricanes have signed another player. Do we have a sounder? Yeah, we could have done anything for that. You could have just, I don't know, whatever. We could have just gone shh into the microphone. That would have been just as good. Eric Robinson, who's a forward, has played kind of a journeyman, 29-year-old, but can skate, plays a little physical edge. Carolina's certainly filling out their depth forward roster. Robinson, Tyson Yost, William Carrier. I mean, I'll put Jordan Martinook into that category, but I think he is more than that, certainly to this team. Sean Walker, a defenseman, I actually like that signing. That and the Martinook signing maybe the best today, because I think Walker can legitimately play, and he's going to be on your third pair. But they still have a pretty big hole in their lineup. They need more scoring. They absolutely have to have more scoring. When you don't bring Guentzel back and you let Teuvo Teravainen go, and again, I told you, I'm not even arguing that they should have kept him, but the contract that he signed with Chicago is the perfect contract for Carolina. It only ties you to the player for three more years. Teravainen this year played at a level that is probably commensurate with about $5 to $5.5 million a year. Would have been a much easier keep. And now the pressure is on the organization to make trades that will bring you another bona fide piece. If you use Necas to get that, that's fine. But that's what they have to do. If your mindset is, well, now the door is open for some of these young players, Felix Unger-Sorum, Bradley Nadeau, Jackson Blake, so that they can play, that ain't it. That ain't it. There's no future Calder Trophy winner knocking on the door. The Hurricanes have to upgrade in goal. They have to upgrade, I think, at center. It will be interesting to see two players going into this year. What is Jesperi Kotkaniemi going to do? And what is Yevgeny Kuznetsov going to do? Kuznetsov has to be closer to the player that he used to be. He's never going to be that guy, but he has to be closer to it, not just, 1 out of every 10 shifts. And Kokoniemi has to be a positive on the ice. He wasn't the last 40 games last season. He was utterly useless for the last 40 games last season. So he's been a good player, not worth $4.8 million a year, but he's been a good player. But he has to be worth his contract. Otherwise, you got to move on from it. And I don't think the Hurricanes are going to move on from it. All right, there's so much more that we will get to in a sec. So welcome to July. We'll take a break from Hurricanes free agent news or no news, however you want to term it, because the Atlantic Coast Conference welcomed in 3 more schools today officially. SMU, Cal, and Stanford are part of the crew. Florida State and Clemson are also still part of the league in spite of their legal maneuverings. David McKenzie, who is an intellectual property law expert, that's what he does, and I can't speak. I speak for a living. So let's get right to it. Florida State and Clemson have both been in court, and I keep hearing on Twitter how this was a win for Florida State, this was a win for Clemson. We're basically just kind of been haggling over where as opposed to what, haven't we?
Yeah, I think that's right. I don't think anybody can declare a victory. There's no running down the hill in Clemson, South Carolina, and there's no, Chief Osceola is not spiking his spear at the 50-yard line at Doak Campbell Stadium. It's very much still, a matter that's in play, that's been mostly fought over what's called jurisdiction and venue. But nobody has even come close to reaching the merits of whether the grant of rights agreement is a valid agreement, was a valid copyright assignment. So we are actually still in just the preliminary stages of this dispute. There are, in both jurisdictions, not in South Carolina, I shouldn't say both, but in 2 of the 3 jurisdictions, you do have some matters that are on appeal.
Right.
You have the Florida State matter down in Mecklenburg County that is the Mecklenburg County that's on appeal to the North Carolina Supreme Court. And then you also have Hart, and this is only a smidgen, quite frankly, of the matter that is going on in Tallahassee that is on appeal to, they have a unique appellate system down there that's on appeal to the First District Court of Appeals in Tallahassee. And that's just related to the motion to stay. It's not related to anything like the jurisdiction arguments, personal jurisdiction or subject matter. So we're still very much in the infancy of all these disputes.
So I know, just following you on Twitter at McKenzie, was it McKenzie Law, right? I just want to get that right, McKenzie Law. Just like, you have been critical of the judge in Florida, right? Judge Cooper in Florida of, taking like an inordinate amount of time, which, judging from the court system these days and judges' rulings these days, seems to be the order of business. It's more normal than not for judges to drag their feet. What benefit does this have to anybody if the judge is kind of, taking his sweet time?
Well, this is one thing I've have been historically in this dispute. Sorry about all these notifications.
Quite all right. It just proves that you're busy.
Yeah. Sorry about that. So when I started out this dispute, and I got those off now, Adam. But when I started off this dispute, I was trying to be as judicious and also mindful that, as an attorney with over 2 decades of experience at this point, I'm mindful that, judges are human beings, and
right.
That they're trying their best in 99% of the cases. And, it's with great consideration and care before I took on criticizing Judge Cooper in Tallahassee. It's beyond, at this point, what's happened down there on what are really, I would argue, are rudimentary motions that do not require a whole lot of hearing time. And that, quite frankly, especially if this were federal court, would have been decided on what we call the papers, which is, we're not going to have an oral argument on this. We're just going to look at the affidavits and the papers submitted. Most judges would have resolved that on the papers and would have done so, quite frankly, given the complexities of the issues, in 10 to 15 minutes. This is a situation down in Florida that, by my count, has had 19 hours and 3 days worth of hearing time. And they still only have like part of the order of the motions practice resolved. It's a minutia of sort of the overall questions that are going on in these lawsuits. So yeah, I have with great concern been highly critical of Judge Cooper, but I don't think it's required 3 days. I definitely don't think it required 19 hours. I think you would have to look at the 3 motions that he has decided. One was the personal jurisdiction motion that was brought by the ACC, which I thought was incredibly weak. I think most commentators out there did as well. The ACC is subject to the jurisdiction of Florida courts. I mean, and the question there is, does it have business contacts with the foreign jurisdiction? Does it have sufficient contacts, and how deep did those contacts go? And the ACC has contacts coming out of its ears. And I mean, how many times has it held a tournament, whether it's volleyball, basketball, or a football championship in the state of Florida? It's almost ridiculous to even be questioning whether or not it's subject to the jurisdiction of Florida court. So that was a layup, but it still took 3 days.
Right.
And the other motions practice, which was the motion to stay, that to me, I've been pretty critical about this before. I've talked to you before about it, Adam. You really look at the nexus of where everything happened in deciding a motion to stay and therefore venue. And that unequivocally was North Carolina. The grant of rights agreement was negotiated in Greensboro twice in 2013 and 2016. All the funds coming into the conference come through Greensboro or now Charlotte. All these agreements were signed in Charlotte. So notwithstanding questions, academic questions of, sovereign immunity and the like, everything militated towards North Carolina. And then there's also, and I think it's really important for the listeners to understand that this is also Florida jurisprudence. Not even getting to questions of where the nexus is. Florida jurisprudence is very clear that he who files first gets to go first. And that was a concept that, quite frankly, Judge Cooper completely disregarded. Instead of relying on established Florida jurisprudence, he cobbled together, much like Florida State's second amended complaint, a variety of sources that were not, found a way to find sources that were not Florida jurisprudence. So instead, he relied on things like patent law, which is the exclusive jurisdiction of federal courts. It's not a state court issue. And then a variety of other sources for persuasive authority other than the state of Florida. So those two things were kind of layups, and why it required 19 hours and 3 days is a bit beyond me.
David McKenzie Law on Twitter, as we're talking about Florida State versus the ACC and vice versa. My first reaction when these lawsuits were brought to light was that this is entirely designed to get the ACC to settle. I think the ACC. I'm a dope. But I thought the ACC's legal position was stronger than Florida State's. But the entire thing was designed to settle. Are these tactics also designed to just keep running out the clock, so to speak, and finally get the ACC to maybe throw up their hands and give up? Or are there legal merits to what Florida State is doing? And then I do want to spend our last couple of minutes talking about, since we haven't really, where we are, on the merits of this at this point.
Yeah, I don't think he folded with the royal flush. And I have stated pretty clearly, and even in discussion with you, that the ACC's case is extraordinarily strong. You're talking about a situation where you have the presidents of both Florida State and Clemson who signed this agreement not once but twice.
Right.
So you have a signed agreement. And then the question becomes, was there quote unquote performance under the agreement? But what we mean by that, has there been payment? And I think that the questions in a deposition for James Barker of Clemson, John Thrasher, and Eric Barron of Florida State University would be, we received hundreds of millions of dollars under this agreement. So I think you're going to be able to easily establish the validity of an agreement. So then the question becomes, what defenses do you have to break this agreement? And Florida State has presented nothing, at least in their pleadings, to say, well, this was fraud, this was misrepresentation, the classical defenses that we use to get out of a contract. So why the ACC would fold at this stage, given the strength of their legal position, I think would be questionable to me. I wouldn't believe that they should. I also think, Adam, you probably understand that there's lots of schools involved in the ACC. As of today, we have 16 schools. We're about to have 18 schools with the addition of Stanford and Cal. And when you think about schools and their interests, both their long-term prestige interests and then their monetary interests as being a part of the conference, do they have an incentive to take less or to settle with Florida State or Clemson? And I think the answer to that is no. And then finally, I also think that the actual settlement number is in such question and dispute that even if Judge Cooper or the judge in South Carolina were to force the parties to a mediation, achieving a settlement at this stage when we really don't know the value of those media rights at a time when sports media rights in particular are absolutely exploding. I mean, I think the NBA just inked a deal for like $96 billion. I mean, maybe off a couple of billions on that.
It's a lot of billions, yes.
A lot of billions. And so the actual value of these media rights at a time where people are cutting the cord and that the only thing advertisers are willing to pay for are things that reaches the consumer either through social media, on the phone, or through live sports, who knows what the actual settlement figure would be. So I think we're a long way away from that.
Yeah, I've said that the number can't be lower than $500 million, but it's probably higher than that if Florida State or Clemson wanted to settle. But man, my advice, don't get into a debate with Florida State fans on Twitter about this. They are positive that they have been wronged and that the ACC and John Swofford specifically have been hiding the truth from everybody. So just to screw Florida State.
Let me interject real quickly. I think and I'm no John Swofford apologist, but I think that what Florida State brought up in their second amended complaint regarding John Swofford and his son was one of the lowest blows I've seen in all of legal pleadings. His son had nothing to do with this. And then they're relying on articles from 2010 and then even 2008 for a modern day dispute in 2024. It just doesn't follow. I get that the fans are enthusiastic and that are upset, but I don't think that Swofford nor his son nor the Raycom conspiracy has much to do with Florida State's monetary plight right now.
No, their biggest problem is that their neighbor down the road in Gainesville is going to be a lot wealthier than them without really doing anything athletically other than baseball has been pretty good. They haven't done anything athletically.
Have you ever used a neighbor's situation as an excuse to not pay something?
No, but that's what they're doing. But that's basically what they're doing. It's just jealousy. They have yacht envy here in Tallahassee. David McKenzie, we'll do it again. I appreciate your time. Congratulations to the ACC for growing beyond where they probably need to be. But thank you very much for your time, man. It's David McKenzie at McKenzie Law on Twitter. It's an intellectual property case. He's an intellectual property owner. All right, we've got about 5 or so minutes left to play with here, and I thought I'd just kind of go through the chat. You can watch the show on YouTube every day, and you can also contribute on in terms of just giving your comments. Okay, we have a comment on this. There was no way I would settle with Florida State or Clemson. Yeah, there's no way the ACC is going to. And I've had conversations with FSU people about this. Clemson fans don't do social media like this. Florida State fans, yeah, they're all about it. They live that life. Very online. Unless Florida State's got proof that the ACC is purposely trying to screw them, there's zero reason for the Atlantic Coast Conference to settle this case. Everybody has thought, well, everybody settles. Yeah, not always. Sometimes you go to court. Sometimes you're so strong in your own position that you go to court and you roll the dice. I think the Hurricanes. I think the ACC is in a pretty good legal position. They don't want Florida State and Clemson to leave. They want them to play nice. And as Bubba Cunningham told us about, a year ago, chill out, be good members of the league, and then when the contract is up, feel free to go. But there you go. Now back to the Hurricanes. From Crashent or Crashempt, I don't know. I should probably put readers on. Please, Adam, for the love of God, make this all make sense. This is
wish.
I scream because it's in all caps.
It is in all caps, and that's what that means.
All right.
So for people who do that in all caps, yeah.
I can't make it all make sense. The Hurricanes are off to a bad start.
Yeah.
And in our remaining 4 minutes or so, this really unraveled. The more we kind of process everything, where Carolina is unraveled probably a week ago today, when the Hurricanes first started moving towards, all right, you know what? We have decided, Jake Guentzel, we got you. We want to keep you. You want to be here. And he's asking 8 times 8. 8 years, $8 million per. I might be crazy. I think Jake Guentzel at $8 million a year is a hometown discount. It is. It's a hometown discount. Here's a guy that has unrestricted free agency benefits. He's earned that. And he is willing to take less money per year here than he would get anywhere else. Proof, he got $9 million a year in Tampa. Why wouldn't the Hurricanes just go, that's pretty good. Let's do it. No, that's not the way they did it. That's not the way they do things. The way they do things is see how much more we can get out of it. So already you're in the clearance rack. You know, it's got a blue dot on it, so it's only 25% off. But I have this coupon for another 5. Give me another 5 off. And at the counter, they're like, no, we can't honor that coupon. 1 deal per customer. So just take the win. Take the fact that Guentzel at 8 times 8 is a bargain and move on. Nope, we got to get more out of it. And because the player wanted to be here. And then ultimately end up getting a 3rd-round pick from Tampa so he can go play against you 3 times a year and then maybe in the playoffs. That's the error that was made probably about a week ago today. Because by the time we got to Thursday and then early Friday, draft day, what were all the reports? Hurricanes and Guentzel closing in on a deal. Hurricanes have met the asking price finally. And ultimately, by that point, the market changed. Tampa's now in it. So there you go. That meant that whatever they tried to do at the draft with Necas, and they were close on the 4th overall pick from Columbus. Don Waddell would have liked Marty Necas, because that's how he says it. But Necas didn't want to negotiate a long-term contract with Columbus, so that deal was scuttled.
Marty Necas.
There you go. See, I wasn't wrong. But they could have moved Necas to other locations, except at that point, they knew Guentzel was done. So they couldn't go and trade, or maybe not done, but they knew that Guentzel was not a done deal, and they couldn't go and trade Necas and now they would have had to have gotten something legit in return. Anyway, so that's where this whole thing unraveled. Brady Skjei, I'm not surprised Brady Skjei left. I'm not surprised Brett Pesce left. I'm not surprised Teuvo Teravainen left. I'm more surprised that they let Steph Nason walk out the door. I would argue $2.75 million for Steph Nason might be a little on the high side, but I also think that he was useful to the team in many different ways, and he does score big goals. But this was not a great start to the first free agency of the Eric Tulsky era. But here's my advice to Hurricanes fans. Relax. There's plenty of time to make this right. It'll just have to be through a trade. Victoria, thank you very much. Go USA tonight. They'll win.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The Adam Gold Show.
Here's the thing. The Hurricanes knew Jake Guentzel's ask was 8 years, $8 million per for a while. It took them all the way to Thursday to go, okay, and by that point, it's too late. The market's about to open. Teams have already called to be interested, and that's how Tampa Bay steps in and swoops up Carolina's big prize.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
I had an important job, and it wasn't just a job, it was keeping my brothers and sisters safe. And coming back, it felt like kind of thrown away. If it hadn't been for when